Okay.
It depends, really. Honestly, it can happen there. Most times, it happens in the fallopian tube.
Yeah, it really happened into
Yeah,
into.
it rarely happens in the once it exits, but it can, depending on timing of when the egg was released, or all of that.
And then what happens
It,
to an
it,
unfertilized egg or uninseminated egg?
It after it's embedded into the walls of the uterus. If it's not fertilized, the
Hmm.
menstrual cycle, the whole wall of the uterus falls apart, and it is
Right. And it's discarded.
yeah.
ejected.
Really, it never
So
really
so
embeds into. It only embeds into the uterine wall if it is fertilized. Really,
if it is fertilized, so what
but
from a
if it doesn't,
scientific
it doesn't get
standpoint?
that chemical
So
hormone
from
signal in the lining shed.
so from a scientific standpoint, at that point, it is what? Waste. Yeah, it's kind of ugly, I know, but that's what it is.
But ain't
So I
that the
think
same thing with a sperm? If
no,
sperm doesn't
sperm are
come in
ever
contact
living.
with it, but no, if sperm doesn't come in contact with an egg,
It just
within the
cycles
time
inside the
frame.
male's. No, it
No,
cycles
I'm
inside.
saying once it enters the woman's womb, though, it
Okay,
also too
okay,
becomes
okay.
waste
Right, right, right,
if it
right, right.
doesn't fertilize.
Right, it dies.
Exactly.
Right, but it was a living thing that died, as opposed to an egg was never a living thing. So I think that's where I'm pretty sure that's where he gonna go with it. I'm pretty sure.
But in order for it to remain living, it had to come in contact with her egg.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
once it leaves the male's body, yeah, absolutely.
So the only way the only way for it to remain living, it's predicated solely on its ability to get to that egg and penetrate that egg. It's still dependent on the egg.
Well, if it never left his body, it would remain living.
Right, they're interdependent.
Hmm.
However, they're interdependent. So that means neither one of them really can survive without the other, right?
Well, no, no, no. Hold on, Amber. Interdependent once it enters the woman's body.
Exactly. And that's the only thing
Right.
that matters for this argument. Correct?
No, not really. Not if he's going where I think he's going. I think what he's going to
In
put forth,
order for him
Amber.
to establish that that men should have the right to have a woman abort, which means that the egg has been fertilized, it is dependent on the egg being fertilized. Otherwise, he don't have an argument. Period. Not even to start with. Anything else is non-cipher. The egg has to be fertilized in order for her to have something to delete. So
Did
they're
you just say
interdependent.
non-cipher, Amber?
Yeah.
Who you been
Hey,
hanging around, man?
You,
Hell, I would never use no language like that.
that's
you,
right. What's the science? What's the science,
What's the
guy?
science? What's the mathematics, son?
I'm ready to do that.
Nah, but this is where he going with it, Amber. I think this is going to be his basic premise. From a standpoint of science, the egg compared to the sperm, the only living component in that equation is the sperm. And the egg becomes living when it's actuated by the sperm. Now,
correct.
hold on. Your argument is correct. The sperm, if it enters the woman's body and doesn't inseminate the egg, it dies. But again, it still doesn't negate the fact that the living entity in the equation was always the sperm. So the sperm was a living thing that died. The egg was never a living thing that got expurgated.
But the thing is, once it meets the egg, it's no longer sperm. Like it becomes, it's no longer just the egg, and it's no longer sperm. It becomes something different.
Right.
So something new is created altogether. There again, it requires both to create
And it
this new
requires the
thing.
egg. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
without the egg, you got nothing. So even if you define the egg as non-living, it's still absolutely necessary for life. You can't get around that. So I hope I didn't blow his shit up. Because I'm pretty sure that's where he going with it. Once I heard the science part, I'm like, yeah, I think that's where he going with it.
But that's the thing. The argument, that's not a new argument. I mean, he's trying to make a new claim using an old argument, but it's not a new argument.
Yeah, he should have did
I
that.
mean, I'll say if that's where he was going, it's not a new argument. I don't particularly know his arguments. I don't want to place that on him. But if that's where he was going, he's trying to make a new claim, but it's an old argument and an already faulty argument. So
this dude just don't want no damn babies, and he trying to science his way into.
But science also says he can get a vasectomy.
Yeah, this is just regular,
and it's reversible.
This is just regular hood nigga shit, right? Sanitized in flowery pseudo babble. That's what this shit is. Nigga just don't want them goddamn crumb snatchers though. Nigga gotta get creative around.
Which is true. And I'll say this though. It's been my experience. Most women aren't anti. Like, they're not against it. If you dropping the cash and you, for all intents and purposes, like, the only time I see people that like are opposed to it is if they feel like it's a bag attached to the nigga. But like these regular ass niggas, they come with that money, they'll take their ass on down there. It be the niggas that be playing about that coin. Oh, I ain't got it, or what can you come up with? And that's how the baby get here, because motherfuckers ain't even got the coin to make the shit happen.
Yeah, that boy X must have goddamn.
Yo, y'all hear me?
Who that?
Yeah.
X Architect.
Uh-oh.
So, piece of the pen.
What's the word?
I heard y'all was talking about abortion.
Yeah, did I blow your argument up, bro?
I didn't hear you talking. I literally just Unbiased just shot me the text. I was watching the fight.
So Unbiased gave us a little preview of I guess your presentation for tomorrow, right? And he said you're going to be coming at it from a scientific angle as to why men should have, I guess, equal say in the right to terminate a woman's pregnancy. And
not equal say, the say.
Right, the say.
No. My argument is equal say. Like, I feel like both parties should have, should be obligated.
Unbiased been misrepresenting your argument. He's been misrepresenting it.
All right, so let me say my argument. My argument is very simple. If a female doesn't want an abortion, I'm pro-choice. If a female does not want an abortion, she should be able to get. Does not want to carry to term, she should be able to get an abortion. But I also hold the stance that if a male does not want the female to carry to term, she should also be forced to get an abortion. I believe that both parties should be obligated to agree. It got to be unanimous. Yeah, if a guy doesn't want it, then she shouldn't be able to carry to term, and if she doesn't want it, she shouldn't have to carry to term. That's
I will say this.
So I'm ready for whatever pushback, because I trust me.
I don't agree with that, but I'll tell you why.
Amber, is this a novel? This kind of novel, ain't it? I don't think I ever heard.
I never heard this argument either.
I make a similar argument, but I wouldn't say forced abortion. Now, I do feel like because they can do very early DNA tests now.
Yeah, they can.
And I'm talking about first trimester. I do feel like if a man decides that he does not want the child early on and the mother does not want to terminate, he should be able to sever any rights prior to that. Now, I agree with that, but I don't think because that's a traumatizing experience for a woman that doesn't really want one. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but it's a traumatizing experience for a man that doesn't want a child.
I agree, which is why I'm saying that he should be able to sever any type of legal or financial responsibility for that child early on, because they can do DNA tests early. I feel like that would be a solution. I don't want a child.
That could be one solution. But my thing is this: there's a piece of biological property that's inside of that female that's not her own, and that's my 23 chromosomes. So why should she be able to keep something that's not her own? Half of it is hers, and so she should be able to keep half, but half of it isn't. And so I should be able to retrieve my biological property. If we're talking about gender equity or gender equality, then you can't say the female has complete control when she has something that in her possession that doesn't belong to her. Just because I accidentally
did she steal it from you?
What do you mean? Did she steal it from me?
Did she steal it from you, or did you willingly spill? You gave her though. She didn't take them. You gave it to her.
Amber, okay, Amber, this is what I'm saying. Trust me, I got this argument down pat. You like right now, you probably think like you got the upper hand, right? You could do like
Solomon.
Hold on, bro. Amber, you said that I gave it to her, right?
Correct.
Okay, why would you say I gave it to her?
Did you ejaculate in her? Willingly, or were you forced?
A woman could get pregnant by pre-cum.
Exactly. But so you know that. But you know that though, right?
Yeah, but so both parties know that. But both parties know that.
Exactly. So that means both parties were willing participants.
Yeah, we willing participants in sex, casual sex. We weren't willing participants in having a baby. That was an accident.
Okay. So here's my question.
Go ahead.
So is vasectomy an option for men?
Yes, it's an option for men.
And if you get a vasectomy,
but that's costly, number one, and that's surgery.
So are abortions?
No, abortion you can take a pill.
Abortion is a surgery as well.
No, you don't. That's one type of abortion. Trust me, I didn't pay for abortions before. You can take a pill which stops the female's body from delivering hormones to keep the embryo or the fetus, the embryo, I think it is the first stage, developing, and then they give you another pill, and what this does is it basically jumpstarts your menstrual cycle and flushes out that aggregation of cells. So it's not surgery unless you take.
That's an early one if you know that you're pregnant. Yeah, but most of them. But what if she doesn't?
What do you mean? What if she doesn't? Then
what if she doesn't know that let's say she believes that she got her cycle again, like she don't even know she's pregnant yet. She's still bleeding.
Amber, but the situation still remains the same. She still possesses a piece of property inside of her that
you willingly gave her.
I didn't willingly
through consensual sex.
Amber, let's put it like this. I pitch this point to Unbiased. Please, when I create this analogy, only stick to the principle that I'm speaking to. Don't use the example to misinterpret what I'm actually telling you. If you are a gamer, right, and you got a PlayStation 5, you just bought it, you in your house gaming, but you only got one controller. You can't play with nobody in the house because you only got one controller. I come to your house, I bring my controller, I play the game with you. I leave my controller by your house accidentally. I leave out the house, come back to your house to get my controller. You say, you snooze, you lose. It's my house, it's my choice, and I choose not to give you back your controller. Is that fair? Is that correct? And legally, would that be allowed? The answer is absolutely no. You possess something in your house that does not belong to you. Just because it is inside of you, it does not mean that it belongs to you. And just because it's inside of you, it does not mean I intentionally gave it to you. If I did not tell you that I want to get you pregnant, I'm trying to have a baby with you, then it is an accident. And by default of me accidentally leaving something in you, I should be able to retrieve my biological property. Argue against that. Remember, just the principle that you possess a piece of property inside of you that doesn't belong to you in the same way you possess the controller inside of your house that doesn't belong to you. Just the property is what I'm talking about.
Well, here's the thing. You can't turn semen into property because
It's
you feel
biological
like
property.
according to what? Pull up the
Do
law
your cells
on that
belong-
that
okay, let
says
me ask
that
you-
if you expel your semen into a woman, that is your biological property and you're able to retrieve that. Pull up the
Listen to me.
foundation for that.
It's your biological property. Your cells are your property, are they not?
If I spit
Hello?
on the ground, can
Amber,
I go
hold-
retrieve that and say that's my property? If I spit on the ground, is that my property? If I sneeze
Did you
and I blow
intentionally
my
spit-
nose and I
did you
throw it
intention-
out and somebody pick it up, yeah,
You
I
did-
intentionally sneeze. I intentionally
You
blew
didn't
my
intentionally-
nose and threw the shit away. I
But
intentionally
that's an
sneezed,
intention.
blew my
remember
nose,
that. You just,
and you
Amber,
intentionally
I
slept
didn't
with her
intentionally get her
without
pregnant. That's an
protection,
accident. Yes, I
knowing
intentionally
that
had
you
sex without
shouldn't get
protection.
pregnant from pre-cum,
Yes.
and potentially ejaculated. Those are intentional actions, even though you know the
No.
potential consequences.
No,
Is it not?
Amber, what is not intentional is me depositing sperm inside of her. That's not intentional.
But
What
you
was
just
intentional-
said
hold
out
on,
your
Amber,
mouth, a
What?
woman can get pregnant off pre-cum, which means you
Yes.
know that men pre-cum
Yes.
during intercourse, and you know that
Yes.
women can get pregnant from it.
Peter
And
Peter
yet
Ball
they take the
Juice.
chance anyway.
Peter Ball Juice.
Yo,
But
yo.
the potential
Should I give him
of
the
you
control
getting
argument?
hold on, let me
Right.
talk.
Let-
The
Let me
hold
potential
on,
of you,
on. Let 'em
Amber,
do their
the
thing.
potential of you getting pregnant is not the intention that actualizes. Just because there's a potential of you getting pregnant, it does not mean that I intentionally got you pregnant. There's a difference. If I did, number one, me and the female made a conscious choice to have a kid. If she and me, if the female and me did not agree to have a kid, then no matter what happens during that sexual intercourse, it's an accident if she gets pregnant because neither one of us were trying to conceive a child. So it's an accident by default.
Here's what. Okay, so in the law they have something what is called assuming the liability or the risk, right? So what I'm saying is not that you intended to get her pregnant. What I'm saying is you knew the risk factors going in that pregnancy was a possibility. So you assume the risk by having unprotected sex, knowing that a woman can get pregnant from pre-cum, and that does not make you that does not exempt you from any potential consequences of the law. That's the same thing. Like that's the same thing if you shoot in the air on New Year's and it ricochets and hits somebody. That wasn't your intention. I didn't intend to shoot nobody, but the shit fucking happened. You assumed the risk. You did risky behavior, and you assumed the risk.
Amber, I got you. Now pause. Remember, I told you I got this argument down pat. I wanted to get you in here so I could set you into this two-way trap. Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I'm pro-choice. For
You're
everybody
pro-choice.
else, I'm pro-life for myself.
No problem. Now, since you're pro-choice, you believe that the female should have the right to get an abortion, correct?
I believe that people should be able to do what they want to do with their body.
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no question. Do you believe that female
If that's what she want to do, yeah.
Okay,
if she want to have the baby, she should be able to do that. If she don't, she should be able to do that.
Now, did that female know before she got pregnant that there was a potential risk of her having sex that she could get pregnant?
Absolutely.
But in her case, you would allow for her to get an abortion, even though the potential to get pregnant was there.
Yes,
hold on, Amber, I'm not done. I told you I'm gonna get you in a two-way. Just now, you told me that I knew that there was a potential I could get her pregnant, so it doesn't matter whether or not I accidentally or intentionally deposited my sperm inside her. Since I knew the potential, I took the risk. Now I have to pay the consequences. How do you argue that, but then argue to be pro-choice for the female when she took the exact same risk? So shouldn't she be held responsible in the exact same manner and be forced to carry to term?
Well, I'm not going to say she should be forced to carry to term.
Why?
But I think,
you're forcing me. Why are you forcing her?
But again, so here, most women's issues come in with, and here's where I will again agree with you. For me, I think that the bullshit comes in where you choose to have a baby, you knew the risk, and you knew that the nigga could be a potential deadbeat. You don't get to cry about him not supporting the kid that he didn't want or wasn't prepared for, which is why I said,
Amber,
again,
I don't mean to cut you off, but we that's getting past the point. I'm simply talking about her having the option to not carry to term, being unfair if you're telling me that since I knew the risk and I understood that I could get her pregnant and committed the act, I should be forced to watch her carry to term. I shouldn't be allowed.
Well, who says you have to watch her?
You just said I shouldn't be allowed to force an abortion. I have to watch her carry to term.
No, you shouldn't. So what you're saying is,
Amber,
either way, either way it goes. Here's the thing. Either way it goes, somebody's evading responsibility. Either way it goes. So you're saying either she gets to evade responsibility or you get to evade responsibility.
No, that's not.
Either way, someone gets to evade responsibility.
An abortion isn't an evasion of responsibility. It's an actual act of being responsible, because you understand that
the actual act of being responsible is preventing the pregnancy to begin with. That's the act of being responsible.
That's one way, Amber. Abstinence is one way of not.
Abstinence is not even a requirement. You can get a vasectomy. But yet we're making excuses about how expensive it is, even though kids are just as expensive.
You're talking
about it's surgery, even though childbirth is surgery, abortion is surgery.
I'm gonna let you go. Tell me when you're done.
Hey,
I'm
X.
done.
Okay, good. Now, Amber, can a woman get a surgery to stop her from having kids just like a man can get a vasectomy?
Absolutely.
So we're both on equal terms there, right?
Everybody has the right to protect their own interests. Everyone has the right to protect their own interests. If you don't want a baby, it's on you to prevent it. Not stop it after the fact, to prevent it.
Amber, but do you see that what you're doing is you're saying females should have more rights than men? That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying. I'm saying everybody has the responsibility. Nobody gets to lay down willingly, get into a situation, and then cry about the outcome. If you don't want kids, prevent the pregnancy from happening in the first place. It's simple.
Amber, then you are pro-life.
Hey, hold on, guys. Hey, X. Hold on, X.
Let me get this point across before you go.
Hold on, no, y'all been going for a minute.
Hold on, wait, everybody, let take a breather, hold your point, X, and let's just Peter back juice. Go in.
Yeah, I just had a quick question anyway. Are you still planning on coming on tomorrow to do a presentation, X?
Yeah, I still plan on coming on. Well,
okay.
I don't know if I'm going to do a presentation like slideshows and shit, but I'm definitely going to communicate my points.
Hold on, real quick. So are you sure you want to, because you're probably going to flesh out a lot of stuff going back and forth right now. You know what I'm saying?
There's no way to beat this argument. You're like, Amber just admitted that she's pro-life and didn't even realize it, because what she's saying is
I said I'm pro-life for myself.
Yeah, but for yourself, you said you're Amber.
And I'm pro-choice for everybody else, meaning whatever choice you make, you got to deal with the consequences. If you lay with a woman that wants to have a baby when you don't want to have a baby, and you willingly gave her your property, and now you want it back, and the law says you can't get it fucking back, you got to eat that, period.
Amber, the laws change. You know how the laws just changed with Roe versus Wade being overturned? Now in some states, females can't get abortions. Laws change, Amber. Laws before
they absolutely do.
Hold on, listen to me, Amber. Laws before didn't allow for you. Hold on, let me get my shit off. CBs, let me get my shit off. Amber, before, women were not allowed to get abortions, correct? The laws
before they were,
allowed them to get abortions.
then they were. Now in some states they're not.
Amber, time out. The point that I am trying to make is laws depend on the people, what people are voting for to actually transpire, and the legislation for making it. So that's not where the argument is at. The argument is at, how do we establish equity for males and females inside of this whole abortion argument? And the only way that we can establish that, if you are pro-choice, is to allow for both the female and male to be able to establish an abortion. If the male can't
how about people just make better decisions before laying down, where abortion is used as a contraceptive method?
Amber, listen to me. You are either pro-life or pro-choice. You can't be both.
Yes, I can.
No, what?
Yes, I can.
No,
I
you can't.
can do what I want with my pro-choice is
No,
me being
Amber,
pro-life.
Amber,
That's
you
me
can-
being
you can-
pro-choice for me.
No, Amber, that's you choosing to have a baby. That's not you being pro-life. Pro-life and pro-choice depends on what you decide on for the society, not for you personally.
Can I?
And for society, I'm pro-choice. For
But then
myself, I'm
but
pro-life.
Amber, your
My
argument
choice
is
is pro-life for myself.
Yes,
That's what my
about you right
pro-choice
now. We're
is.
talking
You
about
do realize
oh my
pro-choice
gosh, Amber. I don't even know if
incorporates
you
pro-life.
realize. I don't even
You
know
do
if you
realize that though. You do
Amber,
realize that pro-choice doesn't mean you have to get an abortion. It means that people have the right to choose what they want to do. So yes, I can be pro-life and pro-choice because pro-choice implies pro-life.
No, Amber,
What are you talking about?
that's you confused as shit. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. You don't realize that you arguing against yourself. You say
No, I'm not.
I'm pro-choice. Then you say for myself, I'm pro-life. That doesn't make
Absolutely.
sense. When it,
Amber,
it only
Amber,
reflects
Amber,
on
can I ask
society.
him a
So you
question?
don't
Hold
believe.
on.
So you don't believe that pro-choice implies pro. So what are the choices in pro-choice? What's the choice?
Pro-choice means that that the pro-choice means that you that you agree that females should be able to get
you guys
abortions.
tomorrow, man. I'm out of here.
That's what pro-choice means. It doesn't mean or you can look it up.
Or that they should be able to carry the term if they want to, or adopt, whatever.
But Amber, that's a default. That's not what pro-choice means. Pro-choice means that you are for abortions to be legal. That's what pro-choice is.
X.
It's very simple. You can look this up right now.
Right to choose. Right to choose.
Amber.
Right to choose what?
Amber.
Right
I agree to disagree.
To get an abortion if you want. The default setting,
If
Amber,
you
obvious.
want. So if you don't want, what do you do? If
Amber,
you don't want an
overtalk me,
abortion,
you won't
what
be
do
able to
you
hear
do?
the
So
point that I'm
pro-choice
communicating
implies
to you.
pro-life.
If a person gets pregnant, Amber, by default, what's going to happen if they don't get an abortion, Amber? Let's use our brains here.
Exactly. So, like I said,
Amber, what happens if a person doesn't get an abortion?
The pro-life is implied in the pro-choice.
Amber,
like, what are we talking about?
If a
It has to
person
be
is
another
pregnant
option.
and they do not get an
Either
abortion,
terminate or don't terminate. Those
are
are
you
the
just
choices.
going to keep talking, or are you hearing what I'm asking you?
You've been talking for about 3 minutes straight.
But Amber, you're not asking me questions. I'm asking you.
No, because you're making statements.
I make a statement after I ask you a question.
Amber, can I ask him a question, please? All right, architect, this is stupid. I'm going to ask you a question.
Go ahead, bro.
It is based on control.
It's based on what?
Control of one. Control. CONTROL.
Got you.
All right. Would you say that as a man, you're in control of your bodily functions? You decide if, when, and where you urinate, defecate, and ejaculate. True or false?
In the most basic sense, yes.
Right, yes. No.
You said no?
When you have your you say yeah, okay.
If you fucking a bitch, like you can't. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say you can't control it, but a lot of times, like you might hit that last pump and you shouldn't have did that, and boom, it comes out.
It don't require all of that. Just a simple question.
I say that at the most basic level, yes, you're in control of those. Both genders are. Both genders are.
Please, both genders.
Yeah, both genders are.
No. So you are in control of your semen while they're in your personage. True? You can decide their outcome. You can decide what happened to them. Right? True or false?
Yes, at the most. I'm saying true, and at the most basic level, because I still don't want.
That's why we're taking the argument. We're taking the argument
at the most basic level. Okay, hold on. Before you continue, who's this again? This is Bag Juice?
Stu Peas.
Stu Peas. Are you pro-choice or pro-life? Right. Because I need to know how to argue against you.
I am pro-control. I believe that people have control over themselves.
2 P's. That's not an option. You're pro-life or pro-choice. Which one are you?
That's the only option that matter. I am in control of myself. I can decide whether or not I want to take the vaccine.
I can't have the argument. I decide whether or not. That's what I don't know how to argue against you. I don't know the opposite.
So you should ask him. So you should ask him.
You have to be either pro-choice or pro-life.
Wait.
I don't know which one you are.
I want you to rephrase it this way. You say it's control. Okay, so you're in control. So you want to put your sperm in a woman, right? And so that means you're in control. You want a kid. And she say, "No, I don't want a kid. No.
I am not in control of anybody. I'm in control of myself. That is what control is.
All right, he's
Yeah, but
pro-choice.
that's not an option in the argument.
All right, okay,
of
I'm
abortion.
pro-choice. All right, I'm
Yeah.
pro-choice. Make it easy.
But no, Stu. Stand on your point because he's
That's
trying
not a
to.
point.
He's
No.
trying to. No,
He's
he's
trying
trying
to-
to force
you have to be
you
on either
to
side
take
of the
a
aisle. You
side.
can't.
No,
No,
you
no,
don't have
you
to
don't
do
have a
shit. You don't have to. These are the rules you made up for your debate. Like,
I didn't make the
No,
rules.
hold on,
These
hold on,
are
hold on,
rules
hold on,
that are being argued.
hold on,
That's why
hold on.
Roe versus. Hold on. Before you talk,
are you
Peter,
still having kids,
Amber.
Stu? Are you still having kids, Stu?
Amber, let me
This
ask
may
you a
not
question.
even be a social issue that he identifies with.
Yeah, but
He don't
Amber,
have to take a stance one way or the other.
Then he can't be in the conversation then, because this is a conversation about being either pro-choice or pro-life.
Okay. No, let me finish talking.
No, it's not a conversation about being pro-choice or pro-life. It's a conversation about a man wanting to impose the ability to police a woman's body. That's what the conversation is about.
Let me finish asking him the question.
I'm gonna let you make your argument in 10 seconds, literally. Amber,
Okay.
this is a yes or no question.
I said,
Hold on. Was the Roe versus Wade decision based on being pro-choice, pro-life, or something else?
We're not talking about Roe v. Wade. We're talking about a man's
Amber,
right to
that's
impose.
what we're talking about.
We're not. We're not
Roe
talking
versus
about
Wade,
abortion
the
rights. We're
overturning
talking
of
about
that
a
is what
man's
sparked the
ability to
conversation,
impose
Amber.
what he wants on a woman.
Oh my
okay,
God.
okay.
Amber, do you realize that it was federally it was federally legal for it was federally illegal for states to disallow women to get abortions. Just now, when Roe versus Wade got overturned, Amber, that's when states got the rights now to decide whether or not females can get abortions. This is a pro-choice versus pro-life argument. And if you don't know it, Amber, then you can't argue against me.
Okay.
Again, you're making a totally separate argument.
Until you understand what the argument is. We can't have it.
No, you don't understand what the argument is, sir.
I don't understand what the argument is if y'all having an argument about whether somebody should be able to get abortions or not. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, we're not talking about whether someone should be able to get one. We're talking about whether men should be able to impose that on women. That's what we're talking about. This is a totally new argument altogether.
Amber, if I can impose an abortion on you, don't I decide whether or not you can get one? What the fuck?
All right.
God damn, you just want to argue without having a premise. Go ahead, please.
All right. So at the basic level, you're in control of your sperm, right?
I agree with you. At the most basic level, you're in control
At the
of your
basic
sperm,
level.
just like you're in control of your urine.
Right. So when your sperm is in your body, you're in control of your sperm. You can decide what to do with it. No.
Correct.
When your sperm leave your body
Mm-hmm.
and enter into a vagina, are you saying that you are still in control of your sperms?
I'm saying that that's still my
No.
biological
It's a basic question. It's a basic question. Are you saying that when the sperm leave the body, you're still in control of it?
Well, obviously, I wouldn't be in control of my sperm at that
No,
point.
all right, no,
my
question.
body.
Stop. So no, all right, so that's a no. So would you say that you have no relinquished control? You
Absolutely not. Hold on. Let me explain something.
No. Don't explain it. Basic answers. Don't need an explanation.
I already agree with what you just said.
When the sperm leaves the body.
If the sperm leaves, am I in control of it at that point? And I told you I don't have control at that point. Because
therefore,
I agree with you.
Would you agree that you have relinquished control?
What you mean that I
No. Have you?
Stupies, listen to me because I'm trying to understand your
control.
Stupies, listen to me because I'm trying to understand your question. Do you mean that I intentionally you have to listen to me. Oh my fucking God. Stupies, I can't answer your question unless I understand it. Do you understand that?
Okay, that's why I know that
let me ask you if this is what you're asking me. So I do understand my argument. I'm trying to ask you what the fuck you were asking me if you would let me ask
I am
it.
asking you.
So please let me.
Listen to the question. Listen to the
You
question.
just say it again, Stupid, and then I'm gonna go, and then you gotta be quiet. Go ahead.
Listen to the question. Would you agree or disagree that once you are no longer in control of an item, that you have given up control?
I agree that I have given up control, Supies. Now, hold on, Supies, before you go ahead, I just said I was going to let you ask yours and then I have to go. Just because I have given up control, Supies, it's my turn, you just went. Just because I have given up control of something, it doesn't mean that I willingly gave it up or that I intentionally gave it up.
But that doesn't matter.
I'm not done. I am not done. I knew you was about to cut in. If I bust a nut in the condom, I gave up control of my sperm, did I not? If a female takes that condom, dips her fingers in it, and then puts that shit in her pussy, what just happened, Supies?
What happened is that you did not properly secure your semen, so you were not in control. Still relinquish control.
Supies. My question is this: is that female at that point in possession of something that doesn't belong to her?
She's in possession of something that somebody have given up.
Did I give it to? But time out.
It does not matter because you have relinquished control.
Supies, if you bust a nut in the condom, a person cannot go and grab the condom and then hold on, listen. This is what happened to Drake. Drake busted a nut in the condom, right? And then Drake was smart enough to pour hot sauce in the fucking condom. A bitch went and got the condom and took the shit and tried to put it inside her. Burn her whole fucking pussy up.
Stop. Let me explain what Drake did. Drake maintained. No, you are not understanding the thing. Drake maintained. No, stop talking and listen to me for a second. Drake continued to maintain control of his semen even while it was in the condom.
Say it again, I didn't hear you.
Drake had continued to maintain control over his semen even while it was in the condom because he poured a substance in it, making it non-viable.
Now, but Supies, this is my thing. If it was not Drake's intention on getting that girl pregnant,
it does not matter. Intention has nothing to do with control.
Supies, I am not done. If a person busts a nut in a condom, and this was what's the name's argument just now, you can wear a condom. I could wear a condom. If I bust a nut in a condom and I throw the shit in the garbage, and the bitch go in there, take it out, and then put it back into her, we're still back at phase one, which is
that's why I asked you the question.
Done. I am not done. Okay. We are still back at phase one, which is the initial argument that I have, which is whether or not it is equal for. I mean, whether or not a man should be able to force a female to get an abortion if she's in possession of property that is not hers. It's always going to come back to that, no matter what what direction we go with the argument.
Can I ask you the question now? Because what you're doing now is
you can go ahead, Supies.
When you ejaculated in the condom, and you put it down in a manner that were you still in control of your sperm? When you put your condoms down, unaware of where it is, were you still in control of your sperm?
No, I'm not. And once sperm leaves my body, I'm not in control of it anymore.
Right, so therefore, it was in a condom that you knew that you put it in a condom, but yet still you put a valuable piece of genetic material down carelessly.
Carelessly, I used a condom.
But what did you do with the condom?
I put it in the garbage where it goes.
No, you missed it.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with a condom after I bust a nut in it? Ain't I supposed to put this shit in the garbage?
Because you don't understand the argument. The argument is about control.
Supies, let's just break. Hold on, time out. I can kill this argument right now.
Kill it all.
Do you think that it should be legal for someone to take your sperm out of a fucking condom that you threw away and put it in their fucking pussy so they can get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, you're changing
It's a yes or
argument.
no question. No, I'm not killing your argument.
Once you have relinquished control, and this is what men and women have control. Once you have relinquished control and not properly dispose of it. If I have a Glock 45,
Supies, I asked you, do you think it should be legal for
you don't want to answer yes or no.
Supies, I answered your questions. When you ask them, I literally answered them exactly as you
It's not illegal. No, it's not illegal.
I asked you.
It's not illegal. Because
listen to
finders keepers
Stupid.
is not illegal. It is not
Stupid.
illegal.
You got to listen to the question before you actually
If
answer,
you
so you
bust
know
a
how
nut
to
in a
answer.
condom and
The
throw it down,
question was not whether it is legal. The question was whether it should be legal for a person to go in the after you bust a nut in the condom, you throw it away. Should it be legal for the female to go in the trash, take it out, and put your genetic material inside of her pussy? Should that be legal?
finders losers. Yes, it's legal.
Are you fucking listening?
Yeah, he asking you, do you believe it should be legal, Stupid? Not if it's legal or not. Do you believe that?
Yes. Do you believe it should be
Whether or
legal?
not I believe it is illegal.
What the Stupid? We gotta stop. Because
Don't
unless you can answer the
dive
question,
into
there's no
doing
point in us
all
going
the
forward
time.
because we can't have a sensible,
People go,
rational
no, no.
argument.
You know what? You are arguing.
You're
You're
not
arguing.
answering any questions.
I'm answering the question, and I'm answering that people go dumpster diving every day in the United States.
Stupid. I asked you a specific
He asked you
question.
about
When
your
you
personal opinion about
asked me
the
a
law.
specific question, you asked me, X, when sperm leaves your body,
yes, it
are
should
you
be
in
legal.
control?
I said yes, it should be legal.
Okay, now Stupid, let me ask you another question. Do you
Mm.
think if a female goes to a sperm bank, it should be legal for a doctor to put his own sperm inside of her and lie to her and tell her it's somebody else's?
That is illegal because that is fraud.
That is not illegal. You are wrong.
Actually, it's not illegal.
It is not illegal, Stupies.
For him
It
to use
should
his
be
own
illegal.
sperm,
Some
Yes,
some
it's not
states have
illegal.
made it illegal. Some
that,
states have.
that is illegal.
Most,
as hell.
and most states is not
Some
legal. You
states.
can go and watch a documentary on Netflix. This motherfucking doctor, I forget the state. This motherfucking father,
It was Indiana.
In
It was
most
Indiana,
states,
but
that's
no, they
illegal.
created laws as a result of that.
In
I know
only
what you're
most
talking about.
states,
Are
that's
you talking
illegal.
about our father?
Yeah, our father. That's it. Now, Amber, you agree with me that should be illegal, right?
I do
That
agree that
be illegal for a
it should be
doctor to
illegal
use-
for a doctor to use his own sperm, but
Okay, but do you
with that
believe
there's a
it should be
contract.
hold on, but do you believe that it should be illegal for a female to go? Because you just talked about me being responsible, and I was responsible by busting a nut in the condom, just like you told me. Should it be illegal for a female to go get my semen, my biological property, out of the condom and put it in herself so she could get pregnant? Remember, we're trying to argue equity here. Because you can't give-
I do believe.
We
I
are
believe-
having a conversation
hold
and
on.
he's going around the bush.
Hold on.
Let me ask him the question.
Nah,
Wait,
I'm not going around the bush.
Still,
If I may
second.
answer his question really quickly.
I'm
I
asking
do
Amber a
believe
question.
I do believe if it can be proven, depending on where the trash is, because as we know, depending on where the trash is, it's not illegal to go through it. Now,
Okay, but Amber, but my question
I'll
is
say
a very
this.
simple one though. Should it be?
I
Should it be?
understand
Because
what you're
whether
saying.
hold on,
If
Amber,
I
hold
can
on, Amber.
if I can finish my
Go
answer,
ahead.
if I can
Go
finish
ahead.
my
Go ahead. Go ahead. Pardon me.
Okay. So depending on where it is, because I'm a fan of the easiest route to resolution. So
Okay.
depending on where the trash is,
Mhm.
I do believe that it should be illegal. So let's say it's a hotel room, right? I would say in that instance, it should be illegal. However, I will say depending on how tough it is to make that a law, or how difficult that proves to be to prove that that was the case, because in these instances, it could be difficult to prove. I would say an alternative to that is men rinsing the condoms and discarding them.
So okay, I heard your point. Now, Amber, whether or not it can be proven, it's impossible for you to agree with the foundation and then argue on top of it. Hold on, Supies. It's virtually impossible to agree with the foundation and then argue the structures on top of it, because the structures on top of a foundation are supported by the foundation. So if you agree that first of all, it's immoral. You taking shit that don't belong to you, and you know the intention is not.
Well, if it's in the trash, it belongs to no one.
Let me
Nobody.
finish. I'll let you finish. I deliberately discarded it so that it couldn't belong to you. You deliberately took it out so that it could belong to you. I was not intending to get you pregnant. You were intending to get pregnant, so you immorally did something. You did something
But
that was
that
immoral.
does not
And
mean
Stupies,
anything.
I'm not done. Stupies, you have to let me finish my argument, bro. You keep cutting in on me. Like when I go head up with you, then you argue with me, but you don't want to answer direct questions. But then when I'm talking to somebody else, you want to get inside of an argument. Like, bro, you gotta wait your turn. You either want to go against me or you gotta be quiet. Like I don't know what else to say to you. Amber,
I want to go against you,
Dude,
but continue. When you finish, I'll answer.
Yeah, that's what just wait, sir. Amber, you agree that it should be illegal for a female to retrieve sperm out of a condom that a man deliberately discarded so that she couldn't get pregnant? Because if you say no to that, Amber, then you're arguing against the previous argument you made.
No. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're adding. Hold on.
Let me finish.
You're adding in. Hold on. No, you're adding in.
Amber. That's unfair. I'll let you talk.
You're adding in extra things. If sir, you've been going on and on. Like
I didn't even get to state what I was about to say. You just cut me off.
I'm just getting ready to tell you that the whole. You want to put this restriction, this limitation. If he discarded it for this purpose, this and the third. I don't know the purpose that the nigga discarded it. I don't know if it was because it was a used condom. It was a used condom, and he could have used the condom to protect himself from a venereal disease and not necessarily a pregnancy. And he discarded it after the fact. I don't know his intent for it.
That wasn't the question I asked you, though. That wasn't you doing what Stupid did. That wasn't the question I asked you.
No. What you're doing is you're trying to stack the argument and add in all of these additional
I'm not trying to stack the argument. I'm trying to ask you a question and get you to answer it. Can I ask you a question?
No, you want me to answer in the way you want me to answer. So you're trying to impose all of the limitations on the question. Just ask the damn question.
Amber, if I compose a multiple choice questionnaire, you can't put an open-ended statement response. You do understand that, right?
Sir, you cannot ask 3 fucking questions as a multiple choice question.
I didn't ask you 3 questions. I was asking you 1 and you cut
me going.
off.
Keep going. Let's see.
I'm gonna ask you 2 separate questions, Amber, okay? One question is, do you believe that it should be illegal for a doctor who
you asked that already?
Well, I'm asking you again. Do you believe that it should be illegal for a doctor who was not given consent by the female patient to place his sperm inside of her so that she can get pregnant? Do you believe that that should be legal or illegal?
That's not the argument, Amber. He's
I'm asking Amber a question. It is
that's not the argument, but that's not the argument we're talking about.
Again, when I get around to you, it's going to be a direct communication between you. You have to answer what I ask you. Right now, I'm talking to Amber, and I'm exclusively waiting for Amber to answer my question.
No, but that has nothing to do with the argument.
Stupid, when I get back to you, man, you can
Stupid, it's fine.
You got to exercise some sort of discipline.
It's fine.
Do you believe it should be legal or illegal, Amber?
I'm gonna say,
okay.
Due to the contract, and if the doctor states that these specimens are coming from donors outside of the facility with a certain profile. No, it wasn't your question, but I'm telling you because these doctors sign contracts.
Why are you answering the question?
In vitro fertilization is not a one-night stand. These are extensive contracts. So if a doctor stipulates in his contract, I know you wasn't asking about that because you want the answer that you want.
So I'm giving you the answer that I'm going to give you, knowing all of the nuances that you excluded. Knowing all of the nuances that you excluded from your question, I'm going to answer in the way you didn't have to, because again, you're excluding important details because I don't know if you realize this. If I ask you if 1 + 1 is 2, you cannot tell me A
again and you
after A and C comes after B.
You cannot try to make complex things simple. You cannot oversimplify the question.
I'm biased. You still on the live?
Yeah.
He's reaching for help.
I'm not reaching for help.
He's reaching for help.
I'm not asking. You guys don't even answer my questions. How the fuck am I reaching for help? You all are reaching for. You're not even reaching for help.
It's an ill-formed question. It's an ill-formed question. It is an ill-formed question because there's other complexities that go into a doctor-patient relationship that you want to exclude.
But
I'm going to include those things.
I didn't ask you those things, so why are you answering those things? If a cop comes to you
don't have to ask me. I have enough comprehension to understand you intentionally left
give the motherfucker your license plate
because you're going to try to compare it
He asked you for license and registration. You have to answer the questions that are asked to you. You can't answer questions that have not been asked to you. Because what that is called is a straw man argument. I'm simply asking you a direct question. which deserves direct
You're
answers. It's a multiple
asking
choice
me a
question.
a
And
direct
the only
question that
choices
leaves
that are
out very
available is
relevant
yes
and
or
pertinent
no,
details
legal or
of a
illegal. You can't
doctor-patient
start
contract.
arguing against something that I'm not arguing. That's called a straw man
I
argument.
know
Amber. I
you're
don't know
not.
if you
I know you're
understand
not.
that.
First of all, let's be very clear.
We can't
I
be
don't
clear
have to.
because you don't answer clearly.
I don't have to argue against what you argue. I'm creating my own argument
Oh, Amber,
in
I don't want to argue
opposition
against
to
you
your
then.
argument. You don't get to
That's
try to corner
Amber,
me and
it's-
tell
it's-
me
it's
what
not-
I'm
it's
going
not
to
in
answer
position to
and
my
what I'm not
argument.
going to
If
answer.
we inside
I'm
of the
going to answer
boxing
the
ring,
way I
you can't
answer
say, I'm
because
going to
you're
get out the ring and
intentionally
walk
leaving
around the
out
ring, and
crucial
then I'm going to come in the ring
information
when I
and
want to come in
details
the ring,
because
and
you
yes,
want a
I say
specific
we're
answer
fighting.
and you want to
That's
try
not
to
how that
parlay
works.
it
A
into
boxing
something
match
and
is
you
when
want to
two
make it
combatants are
a
squared off
comparison
inside
or
of the ring,
equivalent,
and they're forced
and
to
it's
fight
not.
against one another, and inside the square ring, there's a parameter that doesn't allow for them to get out of the ring. Otherwise, we're into some other sport, Amber.
Again,
Over talking me isn't going to work because I know how to do that.
I have a hand in creating the ring, sir. You don't get to create the ring and tell me where
Amber,
I'm going
can
to
I
fight.
ask you a question?
I'm not
Amber?
doing any
Amber.
of that.
Amber, can I ask
Don't
you a
get inside
question?
of the ring. Don't get inside
Give
of
me
the
a
ring
chance
that
to
I
ask
created.
Amber
I know you
question
got
now,
your little
please.
questions lined up,
Don't
but
get
nice
inside of the
try.
ring that I created. Amber, you could never beat me in an argument of logic. Anybody with a rational mind could clearly see you don't even know how to rationally answer questions.
Amber, can
Right.
I ask you a question, Amber?
Come on.
Please, allow me to ask Amber a
Anybody
question.
with rational,
So when people come
anybody
back
with
and actually
rational,
watch this video,
anybody
they'll
with
clearly see that
rationale
you
knows that
and
there's a
Peter Bag,
difference
Peter Bag,
between
but you
rationale
and
and
what's my man name?
reasoning.
You and my
In
man
logic,
Stu
there's a
Pease
difference
couldn't
between
answer direct questions,
rationale
but
and
then wanted to
reasoning.
ask
You're
me
right. I'm
But
not
you
using
couldn't answer the
rationale. I'm
questions
using
either.
reasoning.
That's not how
You're
it
You
works.
weren't
using
answering the
rationale.
questions
You
either.
can't create an
You
You're
were beating
using
around the bush.
rationale, and I'm using reasoning.
It's like comparing
Amber,
apples and oranges,
Amber,
but we're exclusively talking
Amber,
about apples.
Amber.
That's not correct. You can't do that.
Amber, allow me to ask him a question. Can I ask you a question?
Why? Why? If I ask,
No, because
what?
I'm trying to get the conversation back into a civil,
how does it get back in, how does it get back into a civil discourse when neither one of you will answer direct questions?
See there? All right, let's ask. All right, let me ask that direct question and you answer.
You didn't answer mine.
What was your question?
Come on, bro.
Remind me a question and let me answer.
I said, do you think it should be legal for doctors to put their semen into patients that did not ask that did not know that their semen was being placed inside of them, but that they thought it was some other candidate semen being placed inside of them? Do you think that should be legal? Obviously, the answer should be a rhetorical question, because obviously
can I answer now? Can I answer now, or you want to filibus?
Say what?
Or you want to filibus? You want to continue talking, or can I answer?
I got
what that has to do?
Hold on, time out.
What that has to do with pro-life? What does that question has to do with pro-life?
It has to do with pro. This is what it has to do with pro-life.
No. What that question has to do with pro-life?
I'm about to explain it, but you asked me the question again. We talked about a man ejaculating into a condom, tossing it in the trash, showing that he has no intention on getting this female pregnant. Everybody will tell you that condoms essentially are for two things. It's to prevent the transmission of STDs, and it's to prevent pregnancies. I asked you, Stu Pease, do you think it should be legal or illegal for a female to retrieve a man's discarded? I'm not done. I'm not done.
You asked the question again.
I'm answering the question you originally asked me, which was, what does the question about the doctor putting his semen into the female have to do with this pro-life, pro-choice argument? I was answering the question. Again, you keep cutting me off. And then you say, I want to ask you a direct question. We can't move forward into this order.
Again, that question has nothing to do with pro-life.
Well, you won't allow me to show it, so you can't say that.
Show it then. Show it.
I was just trying to do that, and you cut me the fuck off.
Show it. I'll give you. I'm mute now. Continue.
Holy shit! I asked you prior, Stu Pease. Do you think that a man should be able?
You asked the question. You answered 5 times.
Stu Pease. We're not going to be able to get through it because you don't have the attention span to even be able to pay attention. We can't get through it. And this is what I just said. Prior to me even
No,
going into
your
an
logic
explanation,
weak.
I had already
Your
told you.
logic
It's,
weak.
Piece,
We
there's
went
nothing
from
weak about my
pro-life to
logic.
doctor.
There's something weak about your attention
logic
span.
weak.
I can't even compose an analogous example because you don't have the
Because
attention
that's
span to
not an
listen to it.
example of what we're talking about. We're talking about pro-life.
Piece, you can't
And
say that if you
we're
didn't
talking
hear
about.
it.
I
You can't
asked
say that if
you a
you didn't hear
question.
it. It's like
I
saying,
asked you a simple question, and
Sir
you did
Pete,
not answer my question.
I was answering your question.
No, you did not
I
answer
was
me.
answering
You
your
asked
question,
me a
and when
question
I
instead
went
of
to
answer
answer
my
your
question.
question, Stu Pete,
You are the first
you
one who
cut
went to a
me
question
off.
for an answer.
You cut
That's
me.
not the answer.
Literally, I didn't
All
even
right.
get 10 seconds in to answer your question the
Okay.
second time.
All right. Answer my
already said-
question then. Answer
Pete,
my.
I'm not doing.
Let's
Pete,
retract
I'm not
my
doing that
question.
no more. We already tried this 3 times and it failed.
Okay, Amber. I'm not asking you any question. Let me ask Amber a question. Amber,
Right.
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Amber, if a policeman takes a cup that you were drinking from and use it to scan your DNA to charge you for murder, has he done anything wrong?
No, he has not.
No, the question I'm asking, did I give my DNA to the police? Or
Yes, you did. You set the stage for them to retrieve
I
it.
gave up control of my DNA. I was not
Absolutely.
in full control of my DNA. When a man ejaculates in a condom and leaves it around, whether it is in a garbage bin, anywhere, and he loses control over his DNA, he cannot cry when something's happened to it. You have a responsibility as a man to be in control of your DNA at all times.
But that's
Woman,
exactly what.
Stop talking. I'm not
that's
talking to you now.
Oh yeah, pardon me.
Pardon me. Let me explain.
You're right.
I'm talking to
You're right. I apologize.
So when a man has a responsibility for his DNA, his DNA, he is responsible, and he relinquish control over that DNA. Whether it want to be purposely, intentionally, or unintentionally, he relinquished control of his DNA. It was his responsibility of a man, just as it was a criminal responsibility that when he finished drinking from that cup, he took that cup with him. So no one would have access to his DNA. When you come in a condom, it is your responsibility to secure that condom so nobody will have access to your DNA.
I hear Chief X.
Chief X.
I think Unbiased was playing a video or something.
So you understand what I'm saying, Amber? I
absolutely understand what you're saying, which
Amber,
is why I was
question.
saying.
Question. If I relinquish control of my DNA to a woman, and the woman has the control of my DNA now, do I have a right to tell her what to do with her property?
Nope.
Does that DNA that I have relinquished to her, is it not her property now to do as she please?
Yep.
So if
Amber.
No, stop talking. Don't create your own arguments. Create your own arguments.
I'm gonna talk to Amber after you're done. But
no, Amber, if she chooses to use this DNA to get pregnant, or she chooses to use this DNA to not get pregnant, I have relinquished control of my DNA. And that's it. That's what this dude don't understand. And that's the argument many lawyers make. You can ask Amber your question now. I finished my point.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me just make a statement to you,
Amber. Go ahead.
Which is why I was saying earlier, it depends on the circumstances and where it's left, because so many other things are made possible by the laws that trash is trash. Like once you get to fucking with that, you can start fucking with a whole lot of things. Yes. So while people may not like that you can go in the trash and take shit out that they thought that they discarded so nobody could have it, the reality is hell, anybody can go in the trash. Hell, the maid can go in the trash and put some up her vagina. Or a gay guy can go and put it in his ass and say you raped him. Like it doesn't matter. Oh, sorry for saying the word.
All that matters, Amber, is
Supi,
that you have relinquished
Supi, you
control.
win. Supi, you win. You told me it was my turn to go. You had win. You said I could talk to Amber. Amber, and then Amber went after you. Can I talk to Amber?
Well, Amber not sure she want to talk to you because you have all of these rules.
Because your argument,
you have all of these rules.
You just, Amber, but prior to what you just said, you said that if a man didn't want the kid, he should have used the condom. That was what you said.
Absolutely,
Amber.
I did say that. I didn't take it back because
Amber,
you want to imply that you want to try to pretend like a man can't rinse out the condom and then discard it. Like
Amber,
he can't carry around a bag and put the trash so he can make sure it gets discarded in the way he wants it to be discarded in. All of your examples, men have a responsibility up to a point, and when they don't want responsibility,
and now people can't hear what I'm trying to say.
That's what you did.
And
that's what you did when I was trying to answer the question in my way. You overtalked me, you cut me off. So now I'm going to return the favor.
Oh my God! Anybody can rewind the tape and clearly see I did not cut you off.
You asked me your question, and when I began to answer, you cut me off and tried to control my response. So now I'm going to cut you off, and I'm going to control your response. Like I said, you want men to be responsible up until ejaculation, and then after that, they're not responsible. But then if she want to have a baby, then they are responsible.
We allow for both parties to get theirs off.
Are you saying? So what you're saying is it should be illegal for a man to dispose of his biological property.
And we can speak about anything.
If a man wants to retrieve his biological property.
Okay, so this was 7 days ago. All right, so at that point, got a little tense. I think the discussion was officially over at that point. I think everybody was able to express their side, their opinion on the topic. And the topic is simply, should men be able to force? So let me clarify. I couldn't do a long old title. I think I might have heard him say it in the debate, the discussion. The topic is, so listen clearly and closely. Let's be clear here. The topic is, should men, like women, should be able to force an abort mission? Should they be abort? Men like women, okay, so he's pointing out equality. So I know that the title is a little misleading. This is not men alone. So the topic is, should men like women should be able to force abort missions because both added 23 chromosomes to make it happen. I'm trying to be careful as possible with the words. Yeah, so both added to the creation. He's saying, why should one person, so he's not just saying the man alone, he's saying if one person can force it, then the other person should as well. Okay, and on the flip side, if one person can't force it, then the other person shouldn't be able to force it either. So he's not saying a law for this person, a law for that person, right? He's saying the law should be spread out evenly, equally. So if this is a state where nobody can force it, then there's no discussion. But he's saying this is a state where free choice, and one party's free choice is to force it, that he's saying the other party choice should be able to free choice to free. The other party should be able to free choice force it as well. Why is one person? Why does one person have more ownership of the independent life than the other party? Because I don't. Let me remind you guys so you don't get religious on me. According to this country, that thing that's conceived ain't yours or hers. All right. So I know y'all getting mixed up, and y'all reading this Bible, and y'all getting caught up in Yeah, mixing it with this country, the reality in this country. The reality is that holy thing, I'm using biblical terms, that holy thing inside of her ain't yours or hers. That's the reality. So, with that being the case, why is one person more sovereign, have more rights over the outcome of that holy thing? So that is the discussion. So now, if you keep that in mind and kind of retrospect back about the argument, now what you think? Because I thought some of you guys think one party is lost. I thought both. I don't know if y'all was following the argument, but I thought both was making good points, and this is why this is the proof is this is why both were excited. You know, this is like, you know, keep in mind, this is 3 a.m. in the morning. So if one person was crazy, I don't think the other person would be so excited. So I think it was a good equal argument that got both parties excited because they both know they're landing jabs, they're landing hooks, they're dipping this hook, they're dipping that hook, they're tying up. It looks close on both sides. Okay, Dice Man, what makes you think I'm at the computer, my boy? Okay, what makes you think I'm at the computer? Oh, that Wawa, listening from my phone. So yeah, y'all be kind of bugging in the chat, all right? You're bugging right now. I was driving from Wawa, listening from my phone. Is that okay? Am I, do I have the right to leave the computer when I'm re-airing a video? If you notice, when I was typing, I didn't tag anybody because you can't tag from your phone. Not according to my knowledge. You can't tag from the phone. So I just said peace, fam, to everybody. Okay, so that answers that. I had to get home, and then as you can see, I had to bring the video down to see it, to see the days. Okay, but I didn't want to touch the video while it was live because some people sometimes think these are live, and that's the cool thing about re-airing a past video. It's cool to re-air it as it's actual happening because people tend to watch it when it's live rather than pre-recorded. Okay, so that's why sometimes I leave it out there where you don't really know if it's live or not. Because some people, once they find out that it's not live, they usually, some people say, I'm good. Okay? So I didn't want to scroll down like this, but you know, I did. I scrolled down 7 days, right? This seemed like it was yesterday though. So for me, this seemed pretty, you know, the days and weeks go by so fast. This seemed like it was yesterday. So now that I was able to, according to my best ability, explain the argument, should men like women be able to force what's a generous term? So that, but y'all still understand what I'm saying. This is tough. Damn, give me something. What's a nice way to put it where nobody gets offended? Because nowadays, Facebook, there's options. When you upload a video or when you finish a video, there's all these options that you should check out before you publish the video. Because if it's something like this, you gotta put, yeah, some people might not be, you know what I mean? Like they really give you specific options now because they're trying to avoid you from being flagged unnecessarily. So by you selecting those options, they're going to keep it away from certain people who are pro or anti, or, you know, pro-choice, pro-life, religious, you know, LGBT. Like they're going to keep it from these people so they don't flag your video unnecessarily. and then you got to prove, you got to, appeal it and all those things. But while you're appealing it, it's gone in 3 days. You dig? Your bag is. If you got 1 million subscribers, that's going to hurt you. If you or 100,000 subscribers, it's going to hurt if your video is gone for 3-4 days because it's under investigation of a false flag. So I'm trying to think of a nice, or not nice, but just a generous word I can use for the abort mission thing. Let's see, what's a generous term that won't hurt too many feelings when you say it? Let's just say for now, let's say contain it, right? I don't know, contain it. So should men equally like women be able to contain it if they so please? Because it's nothing they, just to add on, it's something they didn't agree to. They didn't make a contract with the woman, just like how she can say simply, yeah, in 2-3 months, but nah, it's gone. You like, oh, no. Like your beliefs, all that stuff you feel about that is out the window. Simply by her saying, no. And then she could say, yeah, and you're fully obligated to be responsible for that holy thing. You dig? All right. So that's that. And if I texted him already, so if he can find time today to come on and further expound on this, then he's welcome to do that. And then, he can go over some points that he didn't get a chance to make, or he made it, but it was overlooked. He also can go over questions he asked that he thought was avoided. He can explain why it was important for these questions to be asked. Can a party tap out? The simple fact that only one side of the party is even capable of actually having. And it's for that reason you must protect. Yeah, so Tone, so I think he gave an analogy. That's the thing. Most of us going to agree with Thurman said, Tone said, trust me, because this is a sensitive topic. So most of us naturally going to agree with pretty much everybody that, that's commenting in the chat. So he was given a more legal, scientific argument because he know, like, morally, that's how we gonna feel, right? Because we're humans and we're compassionate and we're sensitive. So we're gonna naturally feel like the chat. But now when you bring in laws and you bring in science, like those two fields are not so sensitive to somebody's opinion, you dig? So they just black and white. So he was bringing a black and white argument to a sensitive subject, pretty much. So we gotta look at it from like a juror perspective. The juror might have a hate for this race, right? But you're in the jury, so you're supposed to examine the evidence and hear the arguments and make a determination based off that, not your previous bias, your previous prejudice. So I'm asking y'all to do the same thing. Like, don't go off previous bias, previous prejudice. Examine the actual argument from a juror perspective. Take yourself out of the equation. Be objective, be unbiased, and then revisit the arguments. And so let's do it one by one. Let's do it. I'm gonna go back. So let's go back on the video. So we're gonna do the arguments one by one. All right, so let's see, because I thought the counter arguments was pretty good too. All right, and and in my opinion, I think questions wasn't. I thought questions were not answered on both sides. But you let one side tell it, they're gonna say only one side. So you guys are the jury. So let me go back. You're the jury. Okay, so let me go back when you first hopped in. Okay, it was around this time. All right.
What? Waste.
If it is fertilized.
If it is fertilized. So what?
But
from a
if it doesn't,
scientific
it doesn't get
standpoint,
that chemical
so
hormone signal
from
in the lining shed.
so from a scientific standpoint, at that point, it is what? Waste.
And as you can see, I stayed out of it most as I stayed out of it because I felt like I already had a discussion with him, right, on this. And Stu Peas and Haskell and no ma'am, that's it. So I'm out of it. Because I want to pick a side. I'm listening to the arguments. I'm listening to the rebuttals. I'm listening to the questions. I'm just taking it back. Okay, I didn't pick a side, I didn't favor anybody. I stood back, which I do most of the time. The panelists argue and debate. I fall back unless I have a dog in the fight, meaning that I already had a side going in. Then of course I'm gonna contribute. But when it comes to that, I felt like his argument was interesting. So I would just want to hear the rebuttals and see if there's any holes in it. And I also want to see how strong it is. That's why I just listen.
Yeah, it's kind of ugly, I know, but that's what it is.
But ain't
So
that the same thing with a sperm? If
no,
sperm doesn't
sperm
come
are
in
ever
contact
living.
with it, but no, if sperm doesn't come in contact with an egg,
This is Haskell.
It just
within the
cycles
time
inside the
frame.
male's. No, it
No,
cycles
I'm
inside.
saying once it enters the woman's womb, though, it also too becomes waste.
Right.
If it doesn't fertilize.
Right, it dies.
Exactly.
Right, but it was a living thing that died, as opposed to an egg was never a living thing. So I think that's where, I'm pretty sure that's where he gonna go with it. I'm pretty sure.
But in order for it to remain living, it had to come in contact with her egg. You understand what I'm saying?
Once it leaves the male's body, yeah, absolutely.
So the only way the only way for it to remain living, it's predicated solely on its ability to get to that egg and penetrate that egg. It's still dependent on the egg.
Well, if it never left his body, it would remain living.
Right, they're interdependent. Mm-hmm. However, they're interdependent. So that means neither one of them really can survive without the other, right?
Well, no. Hold on, Amber. Interdependent once it enters the woman's body.
Exactly, and that's the only thing that matters for this argument. Correct?
No, not really. Not if he's going where I think he's going. I think what he's going to put
in order for him to establish that men should have the right to have a woman abort, which means that the egg has been fertilized. It is dependent on the egg being fertilized. Otherwise, he don't have an argument. Period. Not even to start with. Anything else is non-cipher. The egg has to be fertilized in order for her to have something to delete. So they're interdependent.
Non-cipher, Amber?
Yeah.
Who you been hanging around, man?
You.
Hell, I would never use no language like that.
That's right. What's the science? What's the science?
What's the science? What's the mathematics, son?
Amber is
Nah, but this is where he going with it, Amber. I think this is going to be his basic premise. From a standpoint of science, the egg compared to the sperm, the only living component in that equation is the sperm. And the egg becomes living when it's actuated by the sperm. Now,
correct.
Hold on. Your argument is correct. The sperm, if it enters the woman's body and doesn't inseminate the egg, it dies. But again, that doesn't negate the fact that the living entity in the equation was always the sperm. So the sperm was a living thing that died. The egg was never a living thing that got expurgated.
But the thing is, once it once it meets the egg, it's no longer sperm. Like it becomes, it's no longer just the egg, and it's no longer sperm. It becomes something different.
Right.
So something new is created altogether. There again, it requires both to create.
And it
this
requires
new thing.
the egg. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Without the egg, you got nothing. So even if you define the egg as non-living, it's still absolutely necessary for life. You can't get around that. So I hope I didn't blow his shit up. Because I'm pretty sure that's where he going with it. Once I heard the science part, I'm like, yeah, I think that's where he going with it.
But that's the thing. The argument, that's not a new argument. I mean, he's trying argument. In my experience, the only has an experience for a woman that doesn't really want one. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but it's a traumatizing experience for a man that doesn't want to try it.
No, but your argument, hold on. Your argument is correct. The sperm, if it enters the woman's body and doesn't inseminate the egg, it dies. But again, it still does. What's the word?
I heard y'all was talking about abortion.
Yeah, did I blow your argument up, bro?
I didn't hear you talking. I literally just I'm biased just shot me the text. I was watching the fight.
So Unbiased gave us a little preview of I guess your presentation for tomorrow, right? And he said you're going to be coming at it from a scientific angle as to why men should have, I guess, equal say in the right to terminate a woman's pregnancy. And
not equal say, the say.
Right, the say.
No. My argument is equal say. Like, I feel like both parties should have, should be obligated.
Unbiased been misrepresenting your argument. He's been misrepresenting it.
All right, so let me say my argument. My argument is very simple. If a female doesn't want an abortion, I'm pro-choice. If a female does not want an abortion, she should be able to get. Does not want to carry to term, she should be able to get an abortion. But I also hold the stance that if a male does not want the female to carry to term, she should also be forced to get an abortion. I believe that both parties should be obligated to agree. It got to be unanimous. Yeah, if a guy doesn't want it, then she shouldn't be able to carry to term, and if she doesn't want it, she shouldn't have to carry to term. That's
now, I will say this.
So I'm ready for whatever pushback, because I trust me.
I don't agree with that, but I'll tell you why.
Amber, is this a novel? This kind of novel, ain't it? I don't think I ever heard.
So let's get the argument one more time. The argument. Listen to the argument, okay?
Portion. But I also let me say my argument. My argument is very simple. If a female doesn't want an abortion, I'm pro-choice. If a female does not want an abortion, she should be able to get. Does not want to carry to term, she should be able to get an abortion. But I also hold the stance that if a male does not want the female to carry to term, she should also be forced to get an abortion. I believe that both parties should be obligated to agree. It got to be unanimous. Yeah, if a guy doesn't want it, then she shouldn't be able to carry to term, and if she doesn't want it, she shouldn't have to carry to term. That's
now, I will say this.
So I'm ready for whatever pushback, because I trust me.
I don't agree with that, but I'll tell you why.
Amber, is this a novel? This kind of novel, ain't it? I don't think I ever heard.
I make a similar argument, but I wouldn't say forced abortion. Now I do feel like because they can do very early DNA tests now.
They can.
And I'm talking about first trimester. I do feel like if a man decides that he does not want the child early on and the mother does not want to terminate, he should be able to sever any rights prior to that. Now, I agree with that, but I don't think because that's a traumatizing experience for a woman that doesn't really want one. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but it's a traumatizing experience for a man that doesn't want a child.
I agree, which is why I'm saying that he should be able to sever any type of legal or financial responsibility for that child early on, because they can do DNA tests early. I feel like that would be a solution. I don't want a child.
That could be one solution. But my thing is this: there's a piece of biological property that's inside of that female that's not her own, and that's my 23 chromosomes. So why should she be able to keep something that's not her own? Half of it is hers, and so she should be able to keep half, but half of it isn't. And so I should be able to retrieve my biological property. If we're talking about gender equity or gender equality, then you can't say the female has complete control when she has something that in her possession that doesn't belong to her. Just because I accidentally
did she steal it from you?
What do you mean? Did she steal it from me?
Did she steal it from you, or did you willingly spill? You gave her though. She didn't take them. You gave it to her.
Amber, okay, Amber, this is what I'm saying. Trust me, I got this argument down pat. You like right now. You probably think like you got the upper hand, right?
You could do like Solomon.
Hold on, bro. Amber, you said that I gave it to her, right?
Correct.
Okay, why would you say I gave it to her?
Did you ejaculate in her? Willingly, or were you forced?
A woman could get pregnant by pre-cum.
Exactly. But
yeah, so
you know that. But you know that though, right?
Yeah, but so both parties know that. But both parties know that.
Exactly. So that means both parties were willing participants.
Yeah, we weren't participants in sex, casual sex. We weren't willing participants in having a baby. That was an accident.
Okay. So here's my question.
Go ahead.
So is vasectomy an option for men?
Yes, it's an option for men.
And if you get a vasectomy,
but that's costly, number one, and that's surgery.
So are abortions?
No, abortion you can take a pill.
Abortion is a surgery as well.
No, you don't. That's one type of abortion. Trust me, I didn't pay for abortions before. You can take a pill which stops the female's body from delivering hormones to keep the embryo or the fetus, the embryo, I think it is the first stage, developing, and then they give you another pill, and what this does is it basically jumpstarts your menstrual cycle and flushes out that aggregation of cells. So it's not surgery unless you take.
That's an early one if you know that you're pregnant. Yeah, but most of them. What if she doesn't?
What do you mean? What if she doesn't? Then
what if she doesn't know that she? Let's say she believes that she got her cycle again. Like she don't even know she's pregnant yet. She's still bleeding.
But the situation still remains the same. She still possesses a piece of property inside of her that
you willingly gave her.
I didn't willingly
through consensual sex.
Amber, let's put it like this. I pitched this point to Unbiased. Please, when I create this analogy, only stick to the principle that I'm speaking to. Don't use the example to misinterpret what I'm actually telling you. If you are a gamer, right, and you got a PlayStation 5, you just bought it, you in your house gaming, but you only got one controller. You can't play with nobody in the house because you only got one controller. I come to your house, I bring my controller, I play the game with you. I leave my controller by your house accidentally. I leave out the house, come back to your house to get my controller. You say, you snooze, you lose. It's my house, it's my choice, and I choose not to give you back your controller. Is that fair? Is that correct? And legally, would that be allowed? The answer is absolutely no. You possess something in your house that does not belong to you. Just because it is inside of you, it does not mean that it belongs to you. And just because it's inside of you, it does not mean I intentionally gave it to you. If I did not tell you that I want to get you pregnant, I'm trying to have a baby with you, then it is an accident. And by default of me accidentally leaving something in you, I should be able to retrieve my biological property. Argue against that. Remember, just the principle that you possess a piece of property inside of you that doesn't belong to you in the same way you possess the control.
Yeah, if Stu want to come on, click the link because we want to I want the chat to be informed as much as possible. I invited X2, who knows what he's doing, but I want people just to be clear on the rebuttals, the argument, the pushback, everything. Put everything out there. Hey, peace, watcher.
Salute, my guy. Yeah, I had a couple of questions because I didn't fully get to all of it so far, but you pretty much, because I start writing this stuff down, but I guess I'll save it for him directly. But it's more, so his point in clear cut is about dual consent for childbirth. In a nutshell.
Right.
Is that what he's saying? So he just wants dual consent. So he's saying in order for a child to be born, a mother and a father have to both agree on that child being born. Cut and dry. That's his argument.
I think he's arguing determination part only.
Okay, see, now that's where it's starting to get, see, it's trying, okay, so.
Yeah, I would think Stu or No Man, of course, himself can like really tell you that because they were actually the ones arguing. But for me listening, because don't forget, I had to weed out all the hostility, the tense, you know what I mean? So sometimes that could distract you where I'm like, oh boy, I'm not interested because there's a lot of, getting too emotional. And I don't want to be involved, being blamed. So I'm like kind of taking a step back now. Like,
yeah. See, that's where I love that shit. I love that part of the debates. I can be a moderator because I like still man and just getting to the main point because everyone's caught on abortion. And that's where I think he fucked up at.
Okay, so I think, because remember, I was charged already with misrepresentation. Remember, I was charged already. So yeah. I think, because they charged me again. I think that he's only talking about the termination part.
But you can't talk about the termination because you have to have a baseline. We all have to agree somewhere. So we can't fast forward to the ending. And I think that's where the disagreement is going to agree with. He has to start by saying that a man and a woman, there must be dual consent for a childbirth. Okay. And if you guys don't agree on that,
maybe he was arguing that.
That's what I think. That's what I think he was trying to get at. But people start throwing out the outliers and caveats to where it won't 100% work. And I'm like, shit. And I think and then he kind of doubled down instead of backing off like, okay, that's a battle, but I'm still going with the war. He wanted to win every damn thing. You understand? So I think
agree. I agree.
And I think that's human nature. And I think sometimes you get caught up in that. So I think he got thrown off his point instead of saying like, okay, y'all can have all the emotional parts of the argument or even the ethical parts of the argument. I'm just going to stick with the logic, the logos.
Brother, on the follow-up, he got mad at, Stu, I'll be here all day. The subject might change, but you can always go back to whatever. It's open topic. So if we switch subject, you come on. Because you still didn't have a chance to explain my analogy on a trash discard. You wanted to explain why that wasn't necessarily true. So you didn't have a fair chance to counter that. So I want you to be able to express that. Yeah, so 2 p.m. we'll be on. If we're talking about something else, you can easily go right back to it. Only if I'm having a debate, I won't switch the topic, obviously. But yeah, so hey, the watcher, I took on the follow-up. Stu Pease booted him off at 3 a.m. and he was mad at me. I'm like, dude, why are you mad at me for Stu Pease booting you off? And I'm trying to let my boy know that for one, it's 3 a.m. It ain't like it's 2 p.m. It's 9 p.m. It's 3 a.m. So when he boots you off, I'm like, I gotta go to bed. Like, I'm not even looking at it as wrong, right? I'm looking at it like, thank God, this shit over with. You know what I mean? So I go to bed. Hold on. I'm trying to fix this bottle. Damn. So anyway, yes, I told him, I said, bro, you're trying to win every point. And look, I'm also picking with him. I'm saying, bro, I'll teach you how to debate. So he get mad at that. But I told you, if you have an argument, give it to me, let me debate it, you fall back and just cheerlead. I'm picking with him. But now I agree. He's trying to win every point and not just the argument. Go ahead, Dewatch.
Yeah, because I think if we were just to find common ground, because if you can't find common ground, then there's no point in having a conversation. So if they both agree, because I think even Amber did consent to that part before more water got poured into the pot, because we're trying to boil it down to the common denominator. So I think X was trying to say that if a man, and again, when we argue backwards, because we want to make sure we can counter all the arguments, so we have our conversation tailored that way. And so you can see it coming. But instead of just saying, putting it all out there, like, you know what? I think that in order for a child to be born, a man must give his consent, and then a woman must give his consent. And if everyone agrees to that, then we can take the next step forward. And then we can get into the stipulations. And then Amber, I think the first thing she threw out was, what did she say? Like responsible for it. And I think it was the pre-cum argument. Like pre-cum came out. And I think he should have left that shit alone. But the fact that what did he say about it? It was because it kind of like his argument, which I don't, and I think he may not agree. I don't even want to argue the guy, but the way it was formulating, which I think he was taking a optic or a visual L, is he was saying that pre-cum somehow excludes responsibility. Yeah. So the fact that, bro, let me just clear this point real quick so I can get out of my head before I forget it. So it's like Amber was boxing him in the corner, and I think he threw out the pre-cum thinking that was going to be a valid excuse, which it wasn't, because you're still responsible whether you nut on purpose, accident, 20 minutes, 1 minute, 4 minutes. If it comes out, that was your responsibility. You can't say, Your Honor, I didn't really even mean to nut, so I shouldn't have to pay child support. I normally bust in 10 minutes. It doesn't count if I bust in 2 minutes. It's not a valid argument. So the fact that he even threw that out there as if a point to say I'm not really responsible for pre-cum, I think that's what his trip up was. If he would have just left that alone, like, okay, in pre-cum situation, blah, 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 but I'm telling you, pre-cum or no pre-cum, I don't want the child. You understand? So you shouldn't force me to do it. So the argument can get murky, but once he was trying to counter her instead of saying like, okay, you may have a valid point, but I don't want to argue the anomalies. You understand? But he would just like, and then he put his foot in his mouth because he doubled down with his ego. Oh, this is airtight lock. I got this shit under control.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what fucked him up.
That's what fucked him up.
I said, bro, when you said that in front of Stu Peasy and No Man Mahaska, I said, now it actually got to be airtight. And
blood in the water.
In my opinion, it wasn't, and that flustered you.
Yep.
That's why I said, in my opinion, it was not airtight by their rebuttals, their counter jabs, and that pissed you off because it's supposed to be airtight.
Right. And then when Amber, and you can't say that shit to Amber because all she needs is to find the one anomaly. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't even have to be valid or not. If you make that absolute statement, she has too much intellect to say that there's no fucking way, because it wouldn't be a conversation. It would already been law. It would have been documented.
Stu was going there too, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like Amber, she's keen. Well, yeah, Stu is keen on that too. But I mean, once he threw out that absolute, then he had to double down on it. And even if he was right, that absolute cannot be in all cases. And he was trying to keep it airtight. So he should have just stepped off on that. Like, you know what? You're right on that. I'll hold the L on that. But this is my major point. Right. Sometimes, yeah, and then if Amber would just like, I'm not going to get off that, I'm going to keep arguing that. It's like, okay, so you're missing a whole Sunday. You want to focus on the sprinkle. Okay, I get it. If you want to focus on your right, then okay, you got me. That 1% out of 99. When we're going to get back to the main argument, we can get back to it. But let's just keep beating up on the 1%. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to take the L.
And look, and that's why I showed a debate last night, right? Or evening, whatever it was. Like when I got back into debating like the Bible, you see how I was making absolute statements. And then I put my foot in my mouth, and I was showing that this is growth. Now I know not to do that anymore. I know not to argue like that again. You know, all those mistakes I did, I showed you guys, and I pointed them out. I said, now I know better. But that's what debating is. When you start debating, you might have a solid argument, but you have time addressing rebuttals and expressing it. And for him, that was like a brand new argument, and he was just testing it out really his first time on live. So now you're going to get the pushback. And when you should, like you said, stick to the main argument and then revisit it and try to iron out those wrinkles and then ask them to follow-up argument, try to do it that way. But to believe you're gonna wing it and win every freestyle counter, no, that's not how it works in debate.
Yeah, but it was just like he had the stats already down. Like, okay, I'm Steph Curry, and this is what he did in these moves. He shot 15 shots, and then this nigga get frustrated because he missed the shot. Like, nigga, nobody's gonna go out there and hit every shot. You're not gonna be perfect. You're gonna get your shit blocked. You might hit the side of the backboard. You know what I'm saying? again, like to me, it sounds like you're saying he needs that experience
Yeah,
because
yeah.
those mistakes
I kinda
weren't.
want him, man.
Yeah, those mistakes weren't even like big mistakes, but I think it was just the ego because he got out of character with the asking about the relationships and getting personal
I
and
even
shit.
prepped him for that. I got to
Yeah.
step on your toe this one. I even
Okay.
look before I said, dude, listen, debating, you have to maintain your composure. I
Right.
said this. I said you could have an airtight argument, but if you're arguing like the person who don't have an airtight rebuttal, nobody can really tell who's right or wrong. They're gonna go with who's the most loudest, who's the most aggressive, and that's who wins.
Right.
He agreed. He didn't keep his composure, in my opinion.
Yeah, but again, once the adrenaline and the dopamine, all that shit's in your blood, the testosterone, and you're going back and forth, and you get mentally fatigued and shit, then some shit's gonna slip. You're missing free throws in the fourth quarter that you make in the first.
Right.
It's just mental fatigue. So that shit happens in debate when you talk a lot. And again, I forgot which comedian said it, but if you run your mouth enough and you talk a lot, you're gonna put your foot in it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna double down on some shit you shouldn't double down. You're gonna misspeak, but ish happens.
Hey, Stu.
Big up to everybody. Big up to everybody. Big up to everybody. This is Stupid in the house. The
My
watcher.
man Stu.
The
What's up,
watcher.
sir?
Let me big up to Unbalance. I want you to visualize something funny. Visualize this. You're in the middle of the desert and there's a long road. But in the middle of that road, there's a stop sign. No. The condition is that the Kantian arguments by Kant in philosophy said that no matter what the conditions are,
You said
should
Emmanuel Kant?
Immanuel Kant, right?
K-A-N-T. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Kant.
K-A-N-T.
Okay.
But no matter what the conditions are, you should always stop at the stop sign.
Facts.
This is the pro-life argument. No matter if it's raining, no matter. So one day now, your grandfather got a stroke, and you're taking him to the hospital, and you're on this road.
Right.
And one of the things about a stroke is that the quicker you get to the hospital, the more likely a person is going to survive.
Right.
True or
Facts.
false?
Facts.
No, you're on that road. What pro-life tell people to tell you to do? That you have to stop, no matter what the condition. So although your grandfather dying in the back seat, the stop sign come up, you have to stop.
I'm not stopping.
You can't, there is no choice. So that is what pro-life people tell you,
Right.
So if the girl was raped, she have to have the baby.
Right.
If the baby can cost her life, she has to have the baby.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is what he does not understand. No, the argument that I have is an argument of control. My argument is this, and I'm going to ask it to you. Are you in control of your body function, watcher? Are you in control of when you urinate, when and where you urinate, when and where you ejaculate, and when and where you defecate? Are you in control of
can I steel man that for you? Because control isn't the correct word. I think responsible is the better word.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Are
So
you responsible for where you urinate, defecate, and ejaculate?
Yes, I am.
Right. So if you should urinate in the middle of the road and a policeman give you a ticket, is he wrong for giving you a ticket?
I'm responsible.
You are responsible.
That's why they don't necessarily, you can plead guilty or responsible in those, when you sign those tickets. And even if you don't want to plead guilty, they say, well, nigga, you're still responsible.
You are still responsible. No,
right.
My thing is that you will always maintain responsibility for your bodily functions while they're inside of you. True or false?
I missed the beginning of the question. What was it?
Are you responsible for all your bodily functions
inside my body?
While they're inside your body.
At all times, I believe, yeah.
At all times. So let's say you defecate, flush it down the toilet,
right.
And the sewer department decide to use your excrement to make fertilizer. Is that your responsibility anymore?
No, it's not. Because it became their property and now they're making their own use with it.
Because it became their property when you decide to flush it down the toilet. When you decide to relinquish responsibility of it, true or false?
That is true.
That is
That-
true. Now we're going to come to the sperm part, which is a little bit trickier, which I know you're waiting on. Are you in control, or do you have responsibility for your sperm once it's inside of your balls?
While it's in my balls, yes. When it leaves my balls, yes.
So you are saying that when the sperm leaves your balls, so I have sex with somebody, and that sperm leaves my balls,
Yeah.
because I am secured myself, Fourth Amendment, right to be secured in yourself, in oneself, that sperm is under my responsibility and my control. And I know ejaculate into a female, and now it's inside her. So it's in a total different entity than myself. Are you telling me that I can now act outside of myself for something that is no longer within me?
Now this is where the laws have to evolve. And you have to understand. Now let me respond real quick, because when the argument is not really at the moment, because you're in a social contract with society. So the moment of conception and the ingestation periods, all that, there's really no burden on society. Now, once that child is born, and if you have to get any type of assistance, then society's obligated. And then that's when they're going to backtrack and start putting responsibilities and duties and all that type of shit. So you have to, again, look at the full picture and understand we can't act like the reason why we have the abortions and all these other social responsibility telling other people what to do is because it's a burden on other people. Now, if we're going to cut all that out and have a conversation, we can do that, but we can't. Okay.
We're not cutting all that out. I am asking you as you, the individual.
Okay. Keep in mind, I'm full-minded, so I'm not going to answer one step of a question without acknowledging it. Okay.
That's why I'll give you time. I'll give you time.
Thank you.
You as an individual have sperm in your balls.
Right.
You as an individual know that sperm can cause pregnancy. You as an individual that know that pregnancy can result in child support.
Correct.
That pregnancy can be as a result of economic
18 years of financial responsibility.
You understand that as an individual.
Correct.
Right? So I am asking you now, how responsible, just as how pissing in the middle of the street can have a financial and detrimental responsibility. That's why sometimes we don't do it. Coming in somebody can also carry that financial responsibility. True or false?
True. That's true. That's true.
That is true. No, the thing is that people want to say that they maintain responsibility over something that is no longer inside themselves. Right?
Stew peas.
Yeah.
If it's a windy day and I'm standing next to you, it's a windy day. If I spit out my mouth and the wind catches the spit and it hits you in your face, are you going to say, man, I'm pissed off at the wind? Or are you going to be looking at me sideways?
No,
who are you going to hold responsible? The wind or me?
No, you. And that still hold my argument strong.
That's why I gave it to you.
That still hold my argument strong. Because you spit without acknowledging what your spit can cause. So as a result of your action, you maintain damage to me. That is why when you're spitting on a windy day, you look and see where you're spitting and where the spit can go. So if you're coming on a comedy, you look who you're coming in and where you're coming, so that don't cause damage to you. So although the cum not inside of you anymore, the damage that results from the cum is you almost responsible for it.
Responsibility.
So if you come into a condom and throw it in a garbage bin, like Drake, like Elon Musk, like any billionaire, and you understand how important your genetic material is, you cannot relinquish responsibility over that shit. Because once you relinquish responsibility, and somebody finds it, you have your gun, you have children, you have your gun, and you put it under your bed, and your children finds it and play with it and accidentally shoot another child, your ass is going to be in problem because you were not in control of that all the time. And that is what sperms is in 2022, especially when you're a high value man, as Kevin Samuel put it. If you're a high value man, you have high value sperm. No, when this person get access to your sperm, and you say, this is my sperm, and you say, the argument you're going to use is that, how dare you use my sperm? But you gave me access to your sperm. You gave me access to something that I should not have gotten access to. You know, you're going to argue legally because people, there was a show that I love to watch, a law show, where this girl sucked this guy dick and he ejaculated in her mouth and she didn't swallow.
Boo.
And she used it to get pregnant.
Yikes.
He was arguing that she should not be allowed to have the baby.
Yeah, so that's where I'm gonna step in a little bit because that's when it got kind of murky.
Yes.
Because you guys said that the doctor.
No. He mentioned the doctor.
Right.
He mentioned the doctor and the sperm bank. Let me explain why that now is a total different situation.
Wait. It's still now no ma'am.
Yeah.
No ma'am. Yeah. So my argument was with no ma'am, not on you on this one. So you could finish, but she could call on herself. But I believe she had a different position on that, and that's what me and her was debating. But go ahead.
The doctor did something very unethical, and in many states this is now illegal. When you go to a doctor, there's a premise that do no harm. When you take the hypocritical oath, or the hypocritical, or whatever the oath wants to be, the Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
The oath is to do no harm. So the mere fact that he is harming that individual by introducing something that individual did was not a party to. He is being unethical and he's going against his oath. We can't argue that all day, right? And then also, he was the one who introduced something.
I don't think it's HIPAA because HIPAA is illegal. So
it's not HIPAA.
It can't be HIPAA.
No. There's an oath that doctors take. That's
right. I got you, but it can't be HIPAA though, because HIPAA is totally illegal.
It's a hypocritical oath. I can't pronounce it.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Anybody in the chat who knows the oath that doctors take, lawyers take an oath similar to it.
Do no harm. The oath to do no harm. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes. So when they take that oath, so when the doctor did what he did, he was actually doing harm.
Yeah.
He was going against his promise. So it speaks to ethics, and he can be disbarred for doing that.
So can I just?
He can lose his license for doing that.
Can I insert this? I understand. Yes. I understand. He took an oath and not the woman, and that's why when X said, "Okay, so I use a condom," like Tone G and these guys said in the chat, I was actually responsible. I used the condom. Okay, I was aware of my responsibilities and my actions. I discarded the condom. She gets, so discard means it's supposed to be, that's a wrap, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Toilet, trash can, whatever. This is nobody's property. This is for the trash. This is waste now. Nobody should be allowed to take this and use it for their own devices, right? So X said, now a woman goes take it out, because some of us throw it in the toilet, some of us put it in trash cans, and maybe we hit the toilet. You know how sometimes some toilets janky. You press it, you got to hold it. So he might be at your house. He just press it, but he didn't hold it, so it didn't never flush. She goes in there,
sees it,
take it,
and use it,
and then put it in her body. And then I asked, no ma'am, and them. I said, no ma'am. I said, should that be illegal? And they said no. So I'm like, because this doctor took an oath, and it wasn't illegal, by the way, because he never got in trouble. So it's like, so the doctor,
he lost his license. Go back and look at it. He lost his license.
X wants some pushback on that because X hit me up. that the states did not change the law on that. So he could speak from
He lost his license. That's a hypocrite.
I researched, but whether he lost his license or not, that could be true. But
Yeah.
The fact that if this person can do it and this person can do it, and for him it's illegal, but for this person it's legal.
No, because no,
For me, that you asking like, you know, our morality, and like for me, nobody should be able to take your discarded property that you went. Now don't forget what discard means. Like I explained before. Just a quick example, you go to what I mean by discard. When I was
something that you throw away.
Right now, but it's more deeper than that when I say discard, because they just say throw it away. We use that in facilities where you cannot have access to it. Nobody. Okay, so in pharmaceutical, you know, if you discard something, nobody can take it out the trash. You know, that person might be fired. It stays there.
You
So
understand?
so just let me paint this picture for the audience, because I know that if you're not in this field, discard just means trash. You know, like a napkin in a trash can. It's not the same. You're not allowed to retrieve this stuff. So in the other example, Staples, you know, if you have a whole bunch of printouts and your little shred is too small, you would go sign up for Staples and they'll discard it. But Staples will hire a third-party company, so they don't actually discard it for you. So the watcher, what they do is you put it in their staple bins. Okay, this is discarded stuff with a lock on it. Nobody has the right to retrieve this stuff, not even staple employers. Okay, the only person who could take this out of this building is the third-party company who's certified to do so. So when I say discard, I'm talking about that. Right. So I'm using that same language when you use a condom responsibly. You put it in the trash can, you put it in the toilet. To me, that is no different than in a pharmaceutical world, putting it in a bin where nobody can touch it, or the Staples trash can. Like that was your intention. Nobody should have access to this.
Intent. No, hold on. Let me answer that. Intent and action is two different things. Intent and action is two different things. And we need to understand this. When we use a shredded company, like most of these companies use to discard or to destroy sensitive data, it is totally different than my intent was to throw this thing away, so I put it in the garbage bin. Right? My intent was to remove this thing from play, so I put it in the garbage bin. Now, in my mind, removing it from play is putting it in the garbage bin. But in actuality, put it in the garbage bin is not removing it from play. It is only me thinking that it is being removed from play because I placed it in the garbage bin. No, it is unfair, and all of us will agree with this, and it's unethical, and for somebody to stoop to that level and take it from the garbage bin. But it is not unrealistic. While we might think that it is unfair, it is not unrealistic. And we need to use this word properly. That people, our intentions might not be somebody else's intention. No, individuals, when you talk about like trash and dumpster diving,
no.
Dumpster diving is legal in all states. What they try to prevent it is put trespassing law and certain laws that states might have. But dumpster diving is argued in the Supreme Court. It was just type in dumpster diving in the Supreme Court and you see it. And it's legal in all 50 states. People are allowed to go into the trash. It's legal. People are allowed to go into the trash. Now you can argue that this trash bin was still inside your house, in your bathroom, so you expected some amount of privacy. But privacy in the Constitution, it is not defined. You can go to the Constitution and look and say, privacy on its own is not defined. That's why Roe versus Wade failed, because it was built on privacy law, and privacy in the Constitution is not defined. Right? You have certain word like privacy is used in the fourth, the second, and I think the First Amendment, I'm not sure. But it's not exactly defined. That's why Roe versus Wade failed. Now, it is unfortunate that an individual is going to take something that you thought Not that you knew, that you thought was properly disposed. You never knew it was properly disposed, because if it was properly disposed, this person would not have access to it. You thought. So based on your thinking, you're basing this on your thinking as a man now, that I did the right thing and I threw it away. I put it in the garbage bin. I did the right thing and I put my loaded gun on top of the closet. The child is 5 foot tall. There's no way this child can reach on the top of the closet. I did the right thing. But somebody would argue that, was it secure? And we cannot win that argument. Under no condition they can win that argument.
That's
because
fair.
what you think and what is actually in place is two separate things. If you know that you have valuable genetic material, secure it properly.
That's why I asked you guys a question. Should it be illegal? Not is it? Hey, stop getting up there.
The thing about legality and laws in America is that every law in America is based on the amendments in the Constitution. There's no law that is not based on the amendments in the Constitution. Now, for us to make that illegal, we literally have to make an amendment to the Constitution. It is unfair, yes. It is unfair. It is very unfair. But unfair and illegal is two different things.
I think it's really irrelevant.
Yeah.
Mic check. Yeah, because I feel like it's with, and the only reason why I'm saying is because whether it's illegal or it's legal, people think it's right or wrong. In my personal opinion, I don't think this shit is right. I think that's kind of fucked up. But when you take the thought exercise and continue it all the way to its conclusion, it's not just about legal, it's also about responsibility. And if there's a child involved, it's either the community, everyone else is going to have to pay for those two responsibility, or the two party people who are responsible, their inactivity or their inefficiencies or ineffective at being a parent, or we're going to hold them accountable. So that's what we're not realizing. It's like, whether you meant to, whether she stole it, blah, 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 those chromosomes came from two different people, and two different people are responsible for those chromosomes. Now, whether the community, the city, the state, the federal government is going to be paying for it, or those two people, or we're going to make one person pay for it. So we need to understand, like, there's two different parts. We all think it's wrong. There should be on the books where if this person throws it away, a woman shouldn't be able to, or another person shouldn't be able to take these body parts and make a child out of it. I think that ought to be illegal. But if something happens, nonetheless, there's a certain responsibility. Does that person goes to jail and now the child is, you understand, like, so we're going to financially burden them and so they can to teach them a lesson, and now the kid's going to end up paying. And then what about the other person involved? Do they have no responsibility whatsoever? Because even though that woman is a crackhead, the woman's a crackhead. She can't even afford any financial responsibility. They track the DNA, but like, yeah, you may not want this kid, but she's about to go to jail, and we're just gonna let you know this is your kid, but you're not financially responsible or obligated to it. You're like at what point? I think we're not. Well, maybe we don't want to view this all the way. We need to boil it down to what we're talking about.
But is it preventable?
Wait, still, you just went with your analogy with the. So now I want to respond and bring y'all back to the original argument. Everything, this entire argument was hypothetical and based off. Should it be legal? So okay, it's hypothetical, and what should be? That's why I asked the question. Should it be illegal, and should it be legal? Should it be illegal for women to do that, and should it be legal for a man to say, because of that, I'm good. That child should be terminated, right? So that was the hypothetical argument. Hold
up, because when you say terminate, now you're assuming an outcome.
Right. Listen, but that's the whole thing. The whole thing is hypothetical. It's about.
What I'm saying is that the outcome we're arguing. So like adoption, all those other type of stuff, or she gets to keep the child and she's financial burden, like all of those. Like, are we talking about? I don't want the kid, so I should have the right to delete it. I don't want my chromosomes out in the world. Is that what the argument is?
Yes. The same way. Right. The same way. She can one-sided say, "Okay, I'm sure half of this is yours, but I don't want it. And nothing you can do about it. That's legal." So that's legal right now. Right now.
So but let's understand why, though.
No, I get it. Look, I'm not.
Okay, but I mean, this is a big point because the community's like, we don't have to worry about that shit.
Okay,
if it's gone, we ain't got to pay.
But that's okay. But a guy with a mind, right, that care about living things out there he's responsible for, don't want a child. I wouldn't want to. Okay, I don't care if I'm able to sign off and say it's yours. I can never, like, that's just me. Like,
yeah, I get it.
Right. So a lot of these men probably feel the same way. Like they don't.
I agree.
They don't want to have a child out there being abused or being successful, and they just get. There's no ties, right?
Right.
So the argument was, we're both involved. We're both making a mistake because we both don't want this. Like nobody agreed. Nobody said, hey, yeah, you know what? Let's have one. Yeah, both just having fun. Friends with benefits. And then this happens. So both was careless, both didn't have her, because don't forget, on the flip side, y'all still reckless, and now you are pregnant and you want to get rid of it. And he said, nah, like X asked her the counter argument. Yeah, but you were just as unresponsible as the last guy. But he can't, but you can. So
the argument is dual consent for childbirth.
Yeah. I believe
you're right. Yeah. See, that's why I keep trying to bring it back to it. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you brought it back. Because all those other points, it goes into community responsibility. When you go into legal, and the only reason why we have these laws is to protect the community.
So even that doctor, he was able to do that. And I don't recall him going to jail because from what they were saying, that it was not illegal. And don't forget, something can be like, can be seen as a dirty practice, but it does not mean
unethical.
Right. It doesn't mean it's illegal.
Right.
So the doctor knew that. He's like, all right, well, shit, I'm gonna do what they be doing. That could be his diabolical mind, right? Well, who
says it's diabolical? It's just I'm a doctor. These are good genes. These are good genes. I want to help out. I want to provide this. She doesn't have it. I want to give it to her. That's it. It's nothing malicious. It's not greedy. It's not sadistic. I just feel like this is an opportunity to help it, and it's going to save money. What's wrong with it?
So there you go, Stu. I just want to put that out there.
Just to steel man it, because we can demonize it. We can think it's disgusting and gross, but if just take the ethics out of it and just try to understand it, because if you guys want to put legal into it, now we got to have consequences.
Right.
And now there's going to be people who suffer.
Right.
And we're already knowing that a child is going to suffer no matter what. So we're looking at the situation where it is. I think X has to say, he got to start by saying, acknowledging the way it is right now. It does not take dual consent for childbirth. It does not. And he thinks that it should. Now, when people spin off, he should be ready for their spin-offs, but he has to stick to that. Right now, it doesn't take dual consent for childbirth. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I want to agree with the trash, right? People hopping in trash. Yeah, it gets a little tricky, Stu. You're right, because even that company that took your files and so-called dispose of them, I'm sure they got a place they put it before they dispose of it. If you were able to sneak back there and grab it, like, is it still yours? You dig? Like, could you get in trouble? I don't know.
This is my point. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is my point. Somebody asked me the question. This is what I'm going to say to you.
I think it's a good.
It has to do with responsibility, because the final step is yours as a man to take if you don't want a child, because no woman can get pregnant without a sperm. We don't have that technology yet, and the proper disposal or taking it with you. When you leave in the house, you take it. When you leave in our house, you take it with you. When you're at your house, you flush it down the toilet, is yours to take. Now, when you relinquish that responsibility and give that responsibility to somebody else, you don't have power over the outcomes. That's my argument. You no longer have power over the outcomes. You can't determine the outcomes anymore. So if her outcome is she do what she chooses to with it, keep it or throw it away.
Yeah, what's it, bro?
And that is it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair way to look at it. What you think, the watcher? I think the
Mic
body.
check. Yeah, I was on mute. You're asking me what's my opinion on stews?
Well, no, not your opinion. I think
Oh.
Stu was like kind of summarizing what you're standing on right now. So what about you?
You asking my summary?
Yeah.
Oh, it's again, I have to segment it. I can't just, it's not clear cut and dry. To me, it's parts. It's kind of like, I feel ex-architect has a point when he says that it should be dual consent for childbirth. And I even think that Amber initially agreed with that. I don't think anyone really argued that point. But then when it goes on to linking it to an abortion and a woman forcing a woman to get like the consequences to make that is where the devil's in the details are. You know what I mean? Because we can have it, it'll be all pie in the sky. It should be good. Now it's like, okay, now she wants to have the baby and he doesn't. So what are we going to do? Once we pass the law, then it's like, okay, so now we're giving a separate third party entity to come in and adjudicate a decision about having a child or not. And now that person just sits there and be like, do y'all both agree? Nope, well, I'm taking it out. And so a woman can be doing that out of spite. A man can be doing that out of spite. It gets real messy. You know, we can always go into I put my sperm here and then some woman snatches the sperm. People change their minds and decisions. People cheat in the middle of a pregnancy. There's so many different situations happening now. They don't want to have it anymore. So it's just like, once someone changes their mind, it's just hella messy. So in order to make it fair, you got to have some sort of a moral guideline with it. And that's where I'm like not getting involved. Yeah. If you want to do logically and fairness, that's fine. But if you want to get into ethics and morals, well, my doctrine, my religion says this, and now it's just way convoluted now.
So I would say this, and when I say summary, that doesn't mean we're done with the conversation. I just mean like, so everybody know where you stand at.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, in order to, like, let's say if men just can't impose that type of thing on women, right? It just can't happen. Then I would be forced to go with no termination, period. Right? To level it out, I would be forced to vote on that. No termination, gotta have it. And therefore, for me, that's like now it's even.
Okay, so you just. I'm sorry. I was asking. Go ahead.
You believe in the stop sign in the desert. You believe in the stop sign in the desert. Then that under no condition can you break the stop sign.
Yeah. If I'm to consider both parties, which I consider, like I consider male rights, and I believe they should have equal rights, not one-sided rights when it comes to things like that. So yeah, if that's going to be the case, if women can just pour it down, and if that's cool, and a doctor do it, that's uncool. So I'm not seeing equal rights there. So I want to just say, all right, cool. If I got to vote, my vote would be termination. Like that's where I can't. So consider all that, and we can't come to an agreement to my liking. Yeah, I'm just going to vote that right there. So therefore, that decision for both is gone. So now we're equal on that. You got to have, like you said. So now everybody's been responsible now, equally. So I will go with that.
That's actually. No, that's not harder. Let me tell you why that's not responsibility. Because prior to the act, I had all the leverage as a man to determine whether or not you will get pregnant. I had all the leverage because she can't get pregnant without me. I had all the leverage. And then after the act, when she got pregnant, you're going to say she has no leverage to decide whether or not she gets to keep this?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I ask some clarity questions or some questions for clarification?
Yeah.
Stu, that thought exercise, was that Immanuel Kant's, or that was like a variation, or someone took that based off of his logic? That example. The stop sign. Okay. The stop sign in the desert analogy or story is that Immanuel Kant's, or that's someone else's story, or that's just an analogy that you use right now?
It's an analogy on Kateism. It's a stop sign. It's not sociology. use to explain it. That under
Okay,
no
so
condition.
I want to continue with that stop sign premise. So with the understanding that completely is saying that if I come to a stop, or the thought process is you're supposed to come to a stop no matter what, whether there is a car, a possible person, whatever, the rule is to stop.
Yes.
And you have someone that's in the backseat, and that is a life that could be at jeopardy. So you're foregoing the potentiality of violating a life while you have a life in hand. Do you see the loop in that? So it's like, forget those lives, but the life that I'm closest to that matters the most is one that I must sacrifice for the sake of possible everyone else.
Right.
So you see how that shit is internally flawed, because you're trying to say that you're pro-life, but you're not for this person's life.
You understand the problem with it now.
Yeah, I understood it when I read Immanuel Kant. So when you're using the example, I knew exactly what that. Let me stop. I'm sorry. Yeah, I get you, my guy.
Yes,
I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you read, if you do college sociology 101, you're faced with this dilemma: should I stop to save a life, or should I proceed and lose a life?
No, should I save a stranger and my family dies is the question, and that's easy. It's easy. That's easy. But back to, so that's one thing with that analogy that I never really sat well to me, because it's just, for people to assume that, you got to realize what it's really saying. I think it's a false feel good story, because no one is going to have someone they care about in the backseat potentially about to die trying to save someone that's not even there.
So are you saying that the mothers, if the mother is pregnant and if the child is born, the mother dies, but if the mother lives, the child dies, how do you make that choice?
In that situation with me, there's no childhood without that mother. So I need my wife.
But according to pro-life, you would be wrong.
Nah. According to me, since you asked me the question, I'm living on this planet. I'm not going to find another wife before I can make another kid with that wife.
You are anti-pro-life then?
No, I'm anti being a bot, and I'm going to stand on my decision. And people are going to like it or love it or hate it and say this nigga's sad, but I stand on my decision. Any woman or my wife knows that she's with me. I'm pro me.
You're pro-choice then.
Maybe I am. I can rock with it.
Pro-life.
Well, it's still, to be fair, that's kind of what No Ma'am says. She said she's pro-choice for everybody else, but with her personal situation,
the choice is life. You understand? I'm pro-choice, but my choice is life. Yeah. So I don't understand how it's like I'm pro-choice, but it's my choice is going to be life. Now, what you choose, what you do, is what I expect you to do.
That means that you'd break the stoplight to facilitate your own.
I wouldn't break the stoplight. I will honor the rule of my family.
No, I'm blowing through that stoplight, Stupid. You asking me, I'm flying through it.
There is no stoplight. I don't see the stoplight because I gotta slow down to see that motherfucker. My family gonna make it to the hospital. I don't understand what you're saying. Clearly.
Yeah, I'm blowing.
And you better not, and don't be tapping on your brakes in front of me. you like missing my point. I give a fuck about y'all social rules. My daughter is gasping for air. I give a fuck about a stop sign. I don't care how many bald eagles I hit on my way there. Old ladies in the crosswalk, senators. I give zero fucks. My baby girl can't breathe, and I need to get to this ER room.
You understand now? You understand the argument, pro-choice, pro-life. I like to use that analogy. People can talk when it doesn't concern them. They can hold high to the ethical horses. But if the situation is one of detriment to somebody who's close to you, does the rule still apply? Would you, if your 13-year-old got raped, should she be burdened to carry that rapist child? And to be reminded of that trauma every single day for the rest of our life.
So, right. And see, but at that time, it becomes a matter of opinion, because there's really no right or wrong. It's how human beings feel about that situation. And as you see, half of America feels differently than the other half on that. So now, how do we resolve that?
No, but according to Kant will tell you that you must stop. She must have the child. according to pro-life, you must have the child. It does not matter the condition. That's the argument. People need to understand the argument that it don't matter if a rock was coming to blow down the car. When it stopped, you have to stop. Or a trailer was in the back of you without the brakes out.
Yeah, I know the argument because
Hey, Stu,
that's a Catholic,
you know what I would say?
Catholic approach.
But this is how I feel like America be set up sometimes. Like, and I'll use both examples. Sticking with yours, they want everybody in America, when they drive in that car, hint, hint, poke, poke, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, they not stopping.
Right.
But what they want other people, they want you to stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they say that, man, if someone just hit my wife in the car accident or this and that, or someone did this to my kid, then I'm gonna call the cops and this and that. But they all know they're gonna get their gun and go over there and shoot them up.
Right.
But they want you to abide by those laws, but they want to be able to break the laws.
Right.
You understand? So we got to realize we're going to be sitting over here holding a torch, being bots trying to hold these rules when these other people are breaking rules constantly and they're getting rewarded for it. But we're going to be sitting here trying to hold on to these ethics or these rules or these moral type shit. And it's like, no, we're losing because of it. You got to recognize, I'm preaching, let me fall back. But yeah, a lot of people who would have these standards for you, deep down, they won't hold themselves true to it. So someone may sit there and say they're pro-life, but then when they're sitting in situations like, shit, I'm pro-choice. Or the opposite, they'll be screaming pro-life, but let them skeet into the wrong broad. Now they feel like they're all about rights and there should be abortions and all that type of shit. And that's normally what happens with people. It's just human nature. The most starched people about situations are the ones who are touched closest by it.
Yeah.
If that situation don't even affect you, you don't really care. If you're Native American and you have family, that lineage that were dying on those mountains, then all of a sudden somebody try to build a pipeline through it and through generations of broken treaties and shit, it means something to you. You're going to be out there getting hit with hoses and shit for 2 or 3 days, getting pneumonia and shit, because it means something to you. So when I hear people act, go ahead.
But if you're the one who want $1.99 gas, you go to the pump and you complain that the gas price is too high.
Yeah, throw a water balloon. I'm throwing water balloons. Get the fuck out the way, man. That shit don't matter. It's the earth. Move that shit. They're going to give you all these millions. They already gave y'all these millions. Move your houses over here. This shit is for optics. This shit don't matter anymore. They done took your whole country. Now you want this corner? Chill out, bro.
Right.
I like driving to California in the summer. I've been living in the desert. I need that gas, buddy.
Right.
Where was y'all niggas at when they were bringing these boats when we didn't have no spears and no help? I ain't fucking with y'all now. I'm on a blackology tip, nigga. Why I got to pay for all this gas? I'll pull that card. This again, I'm looking at the whole total picture. I don't get caught in the little shit.
And that is why I believe in pro-choice. I believe in control, because at the end of the day, people will change their mind. People hold on to this people sit on this high horse until the situation arrives.
Wait, but still, it was not belief, because X said, you said, I said, no, ma'am said, I believe the watcher. We said we're all pro-choice. So therefore, how are we debating? So it was never about our personal belief. It was about what should be legal and what should not be legal. What is called, what is equal, what's not equal. What that type of arguments. Because we all pro-choice.
Yeah.
I think it was the presentation that he was saying that a man has the authority to assign abortions to women. Right. Just the way it was coming out, that shit sounds hella.
Yeah, but he established before he said that. He said, "I'm pro-choice," by the way, and then he went on with his argument.
Yeah, but he doesn't understand what his argument is that everybody should have equal say in outcomes, but outcomes don't work like that, and we know outcomes don't work like that. It's not everybody have equal choice in outcomes. Some people have choice before outcomes, and people.
Okay, so he asked me
real quick. I'm sorry, because I just want to get this point. Because you brought into a point what he was saying about when he asked everybody what their opinion is. He has to be careful when he does that, because he has a habit of personalizing the argument. Because I think it was Stu Pease who was asking him, like, what do you believe, or what's your stance, what's your opinion? And then if someone chooses not to, you can't disqualify them from the conversation just because they don't want to put that on the table.
Yeah, I didn't like when he asked Stu Pease, are you pro-choice or pro-life? Because I need to know how to. Yeah, bro.
That means that you're going to be disingenuous with your argument. You're not coming down the middle. You're going to tailor it. You're going to tinker.
Religious folks, when I debate religion, they always want to ask me my person. Like, does it matter? Do you have the truth or not?
Facts.
So
Right.
when you asked that question, I didn't like that. Like, dude, so you can't make your argument if you don't pick a side. What?
Right. It's like you wanna pre-disqualify me. It's like you're building an exit
I didn't
strategy
like
just in
that one.
case.
Yeah, I like that
And
one.
again, that I'm not saying that's his motives. However, when people tend to
It seemed
do
like
that, that's their intentions.
Yeah,
Again,
it
I
seemed
don't
like
know his motives, but
like,
people
why
who
would I
do that,
care?
yeah. Well, it don't matter what you're saying because you eat cupcakes in the morning, or it doesn't matter what you're saying because you're a Hebrew Israelite. It's like, then why are we having a conversation? If you would have never known that, then it would have mattered. So now you want to disqualify everything because I eat Fruit Loops instead of Cheerios. You understand? It's like none of that shit matters.
And keep in mind, his argument is airtight. So why would you care? You know, just prove your airtight argument.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the arguments, it's like, as a man, I could have a whole different philosophy. But if I have a daughter, that shit might change that philosophy.
Right.
Because you're realizing that you're snatching all the abilities and rights and authority from her. If that makes any sense. So I may have one opinion in my life and I'm moving around, but now I'm out the game. I ain't got to worry about getting no broad pregnant. I ain't got to worry about XYZ. So now I have me a daughter out there. I'm sitting around in the world. I don't want to put no brakes on my broad. I want my little girl to be out there, go in the world and live her life the best way possible. If she gonna fuck up, then I hope she gets some opportunities to clean those mistakes. Because all the other broads before had the opportunity. So why y'all trying to close the gate and pull up the ladder on mine? Nah, fuck that. Because that's how I would feel if it was the opposite way around. Like all of a sudden they just shut down the NBA and basketball, of course. No, everybody needs to do STEM. We're not even gonna have sports in high school and elementary anymore. And then that became like, why are we all doing that? Are you gonna do that on my watch now?
Right, Hell no, I like the idea, but let me and mine get out of here first.
Yeah, you see my point of view. Like it all sounds great in theory, but nigga, let me get mine first.
Yeah,
before y'all start doing that. You know, at least let me play. Let me get a chance to play. So, and that's how I feel like some of these women are. But what happens is there's a whole segment that are super abusing it, staying in line. Like, girl, this is my 14th abortion now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. So, even that right there is interesting. You know, yes, that's why I say it's. That's why I don't believe it's a clear cut. I believe it's a matter of votes.
Facts.
Matter of vote, because it's always going to be a good pushback from one side. Yeah, because that doctor thing, I'm not siding with that. I'm not siding with some woman can just grab your discarded or not discarded, just without your permission, just dump it in herself and say, but now you are financially responsible for the next 18 years, even though I don't like that.
I'm biased, but hold up. This is what happens now. Now, as a community, like say something happens on your street and that happens. So now everybody on the street has to chip in, or we're gonna make them two figure it out. Right. The money's coming from them two.
Right. Yeah. So it's
at the end of the day, them two gotta handle that problem, or it becomes our problem. So if we want to exonerate the guy, and then we got to deal with the issue, or we want to or give the girl all the rights, then the community, you understand that somebody's always going to have to pay.
We got to cut that. We got to, for me, if we go with that, then we cutting that child support umbilical cord, like that's gone.
Yeah, I think that shit should come out at about 6 or maybe 8. Yeah. And now you got to find a way. We're gonna help you from the key years of their life to get you in a situation, and then we got to start not mitigating it, but it has to start like winding down, because it just. But again, if you start having more kids,
especially when it's done like that, because you ain't gonna tell me because a doctor gave an oath that morale, you know, his actions was better than hers. No,
exactly.
I can't go with that.
That's a fair point. That's fair. Oh shit! Are there any football games on?
Oh yeah, it's about to start. That's why I'm glad Stu hopped on now. He's at 2 p.m. Like, damn, I might be all in. You know what I mean? A game.
Yeah,
this is good. Now, I did give X earlier before anybody came on. I gave him the first opportunity to hop on and clear his argument. He's busy. He said he's busy. So whatever.
Yeah, let me speak on this real quick. Is Stu still there?
Yeah, he might be on mute.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear the whole thing. So it's hard for me to understand the full context and the buildup of emotions and shit. I don't like the way that you kicked homie off or put him in the back room. I thought that was.
Oh yeah. So, hey, Stu, so he's mad at me. So can you explain that?
What I'm saying? My point. Finish my point. Okay. Yeah, because I think, again, just because the standards of this platform, this is a platform where Even if you don't like the shit, you got to hear the shit. You know what I'm saying? And you got to refute it with logic. So he was uncut and disrespectful with regards to personalizing the argument. But I think Amber was handling herself in a situation where she didn't really need to be coddled yet. As a man or just a YouTube friend of Amber, it left a bad taste in my mouth because I didn't like what he was doing. But even then, I didn't like the silencing. I think he should have been able to either explain more his point. Amber could have came back, or you could have stepped in and say how you didn't like what the fuck he was doing. You thought that shit, or this some whole, like I do. I'm like, man, that's some whole ass shit. I hear you got your point, but man, I don't like the way you did X, Y, Z. And I'm gonna fall back. But I just wanted to put that for the record, man. You coming at this female kind of hard. You know, there's certain ways to do it, but when you ban someone or you don't give them a chance to clarify or you don't give them a chance to calm down, because I said some fucked up shit or I make mistakes, me and Unbiased, we'll get into it. And then like 4 or 5 minutes later, it's like, damn, did I really just demean all his hard work? He worked with the youth. He's being there when other people aren't. And I just threw that shit off the table because I was in my feelings. That was some fucked up shit. Let me text this nigga and let him know that was uncut. If he just blocked me and didn't ever said anything, then I was left with that fuck up and I couldn't fix it. You know what I mean? Or maybe X could have clarified his point and then recognized like, okay, maybe I misspoke. Well, let me get out of that. Let me stick back to this. So when you cut somebody off, now you're expecting him to be mature enough to not just say, fuck all y'all and walk away forever. But at the same time, if he is younger, then it's just our job to kind of raise him and try to bring him along. Now, if he's cussing and being belligerent and man, fuck you, Stu, I ain't listen to you, da-da-da-da. To me, that's when you mute a motherfucker or you boot him out. But I don't think he was there. But he was unbearable. That's my 2 cents.
Well, why I kicked him off is that he's unoriginal. That's why. And then if it was his talking points he was using, I would listen to him. But everything he said was the red pill talking point. If you go back and listen to it and listen to the red pill argument, everything he said to Amber was red pill argument. It wasn't his argument. And I realized that this dude is unoriginal. He's not prone to listening. And when he's not having his point taking the direction of the conversation that he insists that it go, he went to try to demean Amber. Amber didn't ask me to do it. But if anybody was listening that night, it became no. And all they're trying to tell him to stop, to move on, he wasn't moving on. It was like he went into his groove and he was comfortable in doing it. He got very comfortable. That's why I put him in, and then I didn't cut him off, I put him in the back row, right? For him to cool down. But him couldn't cool down because when I went back there, he wasn't there, he came off right away.
Yeah.
Because he was so much into his feelings. And he got red pill and he got very unoriginal. And the worst thing a black person can be is fashionable and not stylish. He's very fashionable, he's not stylish. If you understand the difference. Understand?
Sure. I get it. I know it's because it's hard for me to speak because I know I'm human and I can get emotional and I can get frustrated and there's some shit that I just don't tolerate. I just want us to at least moving forward to try to get into the point where we will just address, but I don't know, because when it's contentious and everybody's yelling back and forth, sometimes you got to mute.
Yeah.
But kicking off
If I'm bad, I should play. Listen to what he said. If it's still up, go back and listen to what he said. Listen to everything.
But listen, but Stu, knowing me, because I'm a real motherfucker, I'm solid.
But you're not.
I'm not. Let me say this, Stu. It's just like about the speeding shit. I can hold my contradictions because I'm a real motherfucker. I don't think what you did was right, but I'm not trying to say that I wouldn't have done it. I probably would have did the same shit. I probably would have got even worse and believe. But that's who I am. I know it. But at the same time, I'm biased. When I'm wrong, I'm gonna say I'm wrong.
Right.
Nigga, that was funny as fuck when you were saying, yeah, you do this, yeah, you the type of nigga.
And look,
I don't know. No, hold on. You said, I don't know, maybe. Nigga, my wife was fucking laughing. Everybody's laughing, nigga. I was so fucking hot, but it was funny as fuck. But at that moment, nigga, it wasn't funny. I was not trying to hear the funny. I was in my feelings. So, but afterwards, I can admit to that. But if we just ended on that, then I never would have been able to get past that shit. If that makes sense.
So wait, still.
I understand.
Wait, still. So people now, my only thing is let's have equality here, because when I do it, people say I'm wrong. You should have done that. You dig? And I ain't got a problem with Stu. I told he's mad at me. You should reprimand him and all. I ain't doing that. So, because like I said, at the end of the day, I give people wrenches, I give people hosts, and they might feel like, okay, I got the right to make a decision with this power, right?
Fair.
I'm like, well, he made a decision, you dig, and he explained the decision. I don't think it was too outrageous. You know, I think he kind of justified.
Yeah.
It, you know, like same way I'm debating Stu. Indigenous or apostle, and I feel like, okay, dude, you being disingenuous. You just trying to talk over me. I said, X, is it possible that that's how you felt? Is it just possible? And he just, no, it's not possible. Okay, I'm good. You know, yeah. So I do the same thing. Only thing I'm saying is that people, if y'all get mad at me, you got to get mad at Stu. All right, because we both made a judgment call, and we're gonna stick by it.
I cuss the hell out of this pretty girl at Unbiased on this platform that everybody was falling in love with. I cuss the hell out of her. Because
who's he talking about?
You talking about what's it? It start with a T. What's her name?
I cuss the hell out of her because she came on here with some attitude of entitlement.
Wow.
Like, and it was and Amber didn't even ask for it either. It was with Amber. She get very entitled, like, you know, she get very snotty. Cuss the hell out of her. So, bitch, anybody know you?
Oh man.
No, sometimes, and I'm wrong, and I wrong for cutting him off, and I'll be more patient in the future. But he was not coming back wrong. He was in his feeling because his arguments were weak.
Yeah.
And you understand that his level. Or when I brought up the stop sign to you, you immediately know what I was talking about. That means to me, you have done some college courses or you have read up on this man. You immediately knew what I was talking about. A lot of these dudes went to high school. They didn't do a college class, and they're trying to argue logics, and they don't understand logic. Right? They don't understand psychology. They don't understand history. They don't read shit. To just go into a barbershop argument and feel like they won and come here.
What's wrong with barbershop arguments, man? Eddie Murphy's coming to America.
His mama named Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. Oh shit.
No, but for me, I told X I wasn't mad at the kickoff at 3 a.m., maybe 10 a.m. I mean, maybe 10 p.m., 8 p.m. I said, hey man, bring him back on. And like Stu said, he didn't kick him off. He put him in the back room.
Right. That's where it's yeah.
So that means that he took himself off. And
yeah,
so,
but I'm sorry. Let me finish. You finish.
I would say, like, so when he called me at 3 a.m., like, yo, what happened? Okay, so now you gotta look at from my vantage point. At that point, I'm like, all right, dude, it's 3 a.m. For me, whether he's right or wrong, at this time in the morning,
I ain't trying to hear shit you guys.
I'm good for the decision right now. I'm open to hear more tomorrow. But either way, what I'm not going to do is his words, reprimand somebody on the live like that.
He wants him to get a whooping.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, he gotta understand that. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, you the guest with regards to the platform. Y'all could be homies and have mad conversations.
I'm sorry, I even explained that. I said this wasn't even your show. This was Stu and everybody else's show. It wasn't even your show. Your show was the next day.
Facts. Yeah. Oh, it was shit then. Yeah. He was in right to do so. Yeah. Legal. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal.
The dude got very emotional very quick.
Yeah.
Very emotional very quick. When I see myself getting emotional, I step back because I don't want to be painting that picture. But he got very emotional very quickly. Well, you can't argue with my logic. Nobody can argue with my logic.
That's what did it, bro.
And you're red pink and you're blue pink and your skirt and your clothes doesn't match. And your high heels are crooked. It's like some kind of argument that I feel. Seriously? Seriously? That's where we're going now? That's where we're going? No.
Yeah,
We're not going
you
there.
see, and you guys see, I don't do that unless I want to do that on purpose, right?
Right.
So last night I want to do it on purpose because I feel like I got enough out of him. He's disingenuous, he's lying. I'm good. And guess what? When he didn't fall for that, what I do? I relaxed. I started talking civil again because he didn't fall for that. So we had a pleasant depart. But I tried to go there so he can hang up, but that didn't work. So I calmed down, went back regular.
You're notorious for that, bro.
Leave cuz alone. Cuz will give you a good customer. I'll tell you some FU first, and then in cool down, he has to get the hyper half first. You know what I mean? He's a kettle. He has to get that steam. He has to whistle first.
He's a bully, bro. He's a bully. I got a homie like that. Everybody who's new coming through, he's gonna just grill until he sees that you worthy being around. And once he sees that you're worthy being around, then they'll be your best friend.
He's gonna grill you.
I just got some idiot homies, you know what I mean? They just for some reason.
I love to I love that experience because I end up winning them over. And like, because to me it becomes like a challenge now. Like, all right, that guy keep talking over me. He keep doing this, doing that. All right, we'll see. And we be best friends later.
That's what got me stinging around over here. I just popped in one time and then you fucking who was the other guy? Melvin, Sosa. Y'all motherfucker was just riding me. That shit got me so irritated. I'm like, am I so irritated after the fact over some motherfuckers I don't even know? How the fuck did I get out of whack? And I know I was sipping that night and shit, but it was just funny to me. And it was like, no, but we just jumped you in. We just jumped you in. I started after the fact. I was able to laugh and shit, but it was just like I could fuck with these guys. Because deep down, if there is no tension, then there's always a question in my head. If you real, are you solid? Or are you going to stand? When it's time to stand, are you going to stand? You know what I mean? So sometimes, and I think I do it subconsciously when I be pressing, sometimes I just trying to see, like, are you really going to stand on what you're saying? Or I don't know. It's hard to really explain because I don't even think people do it consciously.
It's a Hippocratic code. I'll just look at it on YouTube. HIPPOCRATIC Hippocratic code. It's one of the oldest physician things. It dates back as far as the Greeks. I swear by Apollo the healer.
The father of medicine? Who is the father of medicine?
Yeah. Hippocrates.
Yeah, that's who it's named after. Okay.
Yeah. See, but still, I find that similar to like voting. Okay, like for president. You know, okay, they got their vote, and the candidate that won the state can to represent the vote. He can go with the vote or against it. And guess what? It's called unethical, but it's legal.
Facts. We got that a lot in Arizona. How do you think we turn blue? There's a whole bunch. You're a rhino. You're a Republican in name only. Everything you're voting for is like, hey, he's bringing money.
Yeah.
Man, who's playing today? Oh my gosh, that Lawrence kid.
Yeah, I wanted them to win, and it's not because I thought they were so good. It was mainly because I thought the Chargers, for the teams I'm rooting for, that's right, plural. I thought the Chargers would be a bigger threat. So I'm like, yeah, man, come on, please, Jacksonville, they're getting blown out. Please win this game. I don't care if they cheat or not. Win this game. And they did.
You talking about Buffalo?
No, Chargers.
No, I mean Chargers gonna beat Buffalo.
No, they lost. They ain't playing Buffalo. They lost last night.
No, I was in my mind. The Chargers are probably the only real threat to Buffalo.
I'm rooting for the black quarterback. So it's Pat Mahomes, the Eagles, these guys, Lamar Jackson. So I feel like
I thought you would have. So if you was running the Baltimore Ravens right now, you would give Lamar Jackson that money?
Yeah, that's why I hope he go to a better team like Miami or Dallas or somebody that can really use him. That San Fran, somebody that can really use him, he can really flourish.
Okay, so you think he's a real quarterback?
I think with the system, with a San Fran, Miami type system, I think he can blow up and get a ring.
Okay, I like the way you did not say that. You said everything but be a quarterback. He got to have a system that's perfect for him. He needs this. We need the coaches. We need block. We need a blocking tight end, a blocking running back.
Let's ask a real question. If you had a white quarterback with Lamar Well, with his talent, how much do you think that he'll be getting now? How much would he be offered?
Man, he'd be the face of the NFL.
Bro, if I'll tell you this, if they had a quarterback who was just rated top 15, they'd be going off winning.
No,
Lamar Jackson is nice. He just doesn't make those pre-snap reads. I don't want to get into being critical of the man, but he does have certain flaws that he got to fix. And with an average quarterback,
in time he'll fix them. He'll get better in time. But let's say he was white. What would his contract look like? Be honest.
If he was white doing what Lamar's doing,
Yes.
oh, he'd be at least 300 a year. 300. This dude would be he'd be stupid. It would be stupid contract.
Right. It would be.
It'll be the stupidest contract.
It'd be the chief contract.
It'll be what Trevor Lawrence is about to get.
Right.
It'll be what Trevor Lawrence is going to get. Watch.
So give that man money. Give that man money.
Because I recall that they was discrediting Michael Vick. As great as he was being discredited in real time. But he's winning. He's always in the playoffs every year, and he has good records, right? And he beat good teams. He took out Green Bay, but he doesn't get. He's a running back. And as soon as Tim Tebow came to the league, I promise you, everything they said about Michael Vick that was negative, they went and said, "Yeah, he can't do those things, but he's winning. He's in the playoff." I'm like, okay, I'm done with these.
Yeah. He's an inspirational leader.
I'm good. But he's winning. Who cares about his stats? He's winning. Really? Who cares about his footwork and his reading the defenses? He's winning. Really? That's everything he did. All right, cool. All right, so if we doing that, you're right. I'm no longer fair. I'm a blackologist in sports. You got it. I'm picking it out.
Yeah, because I don't know, because I can't even lie, bro. When I look at some of those plays, just look at Vic throwing the ball. Those would be some of the tightest, prettiest spirals, bro. I ain't seen nothing like that since like Warren Moon. Like when he was throwing it down the field, he had it. Even when he was with the Eagles, Deshaun Jackson, man, he blew that dude up. Don't get me wrong, he ain't no slouch as a receiver, but still, you got to get that ball out there, and they coming for you. And the further you got to throw it, the longer you got to be back there. And he's a running quarterback, and you know they want to dip. So if he stays, people don't give him credit for that. They don't give him credit staying to make those passes, because in order for you to throw those 15, 20, 30-yard passes, you got to sit in that pocket, or you got to be there. You understand? Brady rarely does that unless he has max protection. Other than that, he throwing it to the running back. 5 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards. People don't recognize that. You got to look at his completions, bro. He's throwing 80% of his completions 10 yards or shorter.
He throwing it to the side.
Right. Yeah, and then the running back goes forward, gets him those yards. But yeah, that's too critical. That's into analytics, and people don't see that. Yeah, the arm power, I seen him throw standing, not even cocking back, just standing 40-yard passes downfield, tight spirals.
Yeah, man. The Deshaun Watson was known for that shit, just off his back foot.
Yeah. That's what question I got to ask. Do you think he's rusty, or is he done?
He's rusty, because that's what I was saying that about me getting back in the debate ring, a boxer coming back to the ring. You know, Mike Tyson not going to fight Holyfield coming back into the ring. You know, and you see Michael Jordan when he retired the first time, then he came back on the Wizards. Both times he was rusty. So I'm like, that's just life. Like when you stay away from something, it could be any cooking, anything. You stay away from it, you get back into it, you're going to be off. And then don't forget, in his situation, all those situations I named it, except for Mike's, these people were taken from the game. So when they come back, it's like jitters, and it's like anxious, eager. You know, you're not composed. Mike's own will left and came back. So his story a little different. But the other guys I named, the game was taken from them, stripped from them, and they was fighting to go back in there. And even though I'm leaving, they got back in there, little ring rush, little football rush, little basketball rush. You know, Ron Artest was suspended, Jackson suspended, you know. But those guys were still probably playing, you know, outside of basketball. But Tyson, those guys, Mayweather, they was actually locked the hell up. So that's a different type of ring rush. Michael Vick was locked up. And you see, he ain't come back the runner he ever was before.
That's true.
Age caught up with him, but I think Deshaun is young enough to still have those tangibles. He just, you know, you got to play. And he got to play real time. He got to see the real defense, and he got to practice while he's out there. Unfortunately, he got to practice.
Wait, how long did Vic have to sit down? Was it 2?
It was definitely 2 seasons.
Damn, yeah, that's a lot of muscle deterioration, bro. Yeah, you can't like not at that level where you're
hell no.
not at that level where they're continually training and building and lifting and just think you
All
stop
the
lifting
vitamins
and training and videos and nutrients and supplements. Bro, your body's not gonna be able to take that same and your explosion, your tendons, all that shit. Yeah, that's
that. Yeah. So I think
that's go ahead.
That's what happened to Deshaun, but I think because he's younger than Michael Vick at that time, he should be straight. Maybe not even next year. Maybe, cause look at Gino played good, right? And he's way older than Deshaun, and he played good this year.
That's true. That's true.
I think there's no way Deshaun can't come back playing better than Gino. There's no way.
Wait, is Gino a top 10 quarterback?
No, he's top nothing.
He's not even, bro. He's not top 10.
No, if you're going by stats, some analytics stuff, maybe.
Well, I'm in Arizona, so we've been dealing with our third string quarterback these last 4 or 5 games. So to me, a quality quarterback looks completely different from what I would take.
No,
we got third string quarterback.
He's like a what's that? Fitzpatrick. He's like a Fitzpatrick.
Okay. Okay. He's not okay. I get you. So that's about 17 games max. 17 points max on the board.
Yeah.
He can get you across the field and a field goal or two. Okay. So he ain't going
for the defense. He's gonna need help.
Exactly. Okay. So he's like Trent Dilfer now.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Can he get out the pocket? Does he have a little bit of wheels?
Yeah, he can do it, but he's turnover prone. Come out the pocket.
And he's in Seattle, so Seattle's the defense that can spot you 10. Right.
No, not anymore.
Oh no!
They got one of the worst defenses in football.
Are they in the playoffs? Who they play?
Yeah, they just played yesterday. Just playing the Niners. It was 17-16. Seattle was winning.
Shit.
But Gino fumbled the ball, trying to run out the pocket because he's not good at that. So at this point, both quarterbacks are playing good. So defenses are playing terrible. So one mistake on offense, and they was at the damn like 13-yard line, like either a field goal or a touchdown. And he turned around and got the ball smacked out of his hand.
Oh.
And the Niners just scored, so they went up.
Oh shit! So that was like a 14-point swing.
Yeah, so we gotta get 3 points at least, and we're just down just 3 points. It's still a game; we still can win. But when that momentum switched like that, over, and then they threw a pick the next possession. So, but that fumble pretty much deteriorated the Seattle Seahawks because now it's like I know in his mind he's like, oh shit, I'm back who I am. I was playing good up to this point. Now I'm just who I am.
Oh, that sucks.
That had to be in his mind when he fumbled.
That's that pressure, bro. That's pressure. Yep. Where were they? In California?
Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and that crowd was all over him. That crowd was all over him.
Ooh, yeah. See, that's a whole nother aspect too. If you ain't been on the fucking football field and had all, like I was looking at the Deion Sanders boys, like they were just showing different clips when he was like in high school, and then just looking at the stadium when it was empty, and then the stadium when it was full, and then when he was in college at Jackson, just playing in those big stadiums, how full they were, and then he was walking around in Colorado Stadium and just how vast and big and empty it was. But I'm like huge, and I'm just looking like, you got to realize how many motherfuckers are just sitting there cheering and yelling for you. And then when you keep thinking, think about how many people are booing and laughing at you when you make mistakes, or if you drop a pass and it's like, oh shit. Or if you fumble, you just get blasted by a linebacker and you fumble. And now not only that, the opponent's gonna be reminding you, oh, he give us another fumble, y'all. Oh yeah, he on our team, y'all. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
You already know that's happening.
Damn, that's who was it? Isaiah Thomas had a clip when he was saying that's when he realized the difference between superstars and pro players. Like in the NBA, during the season, he's passing the ball to players and they're just knocking down shots when they're open. But then when the playoff comes, they just missing wide open shots. And he's like, bro, why aren't you hitting these shots? I'm 5'9". They double teaming me. They triple teaming me the whole game when he was playing with Boston.
Right.
And it just really hit me. Right. Dudes are wide open missing these shots.
But in practice, you try and compete with me the most threes in a row. Facts.
Or no, not even that in the game. You got somebody like just competing with you during the game.
Right.
Like what was that guy that played for the Celtics? He's light skinned. He has like a birthmark on his head. He's kind of like heavy set. He was playing a lot of minutes.
He still play for them, or he's out?
He still play right now.
He's talking about Grant Williams?
I think that's him. He's kind of built like a Dudley built.
Yeah, that gotta be
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I think one game he ended up going off. I don't know if it was the playoffs or the season. He ended up hitting like 7 or 8 threes, and he scored it. And then they were interviewing him, and Tatum had to walk his ass over there, and he said, "Hey, yeah, he went off. I'm proud of him, but don't get used to that."
Right.
Like, so not only did he just say that, but he wanted the world to know.
Right.
Don't think you're going to be taking more shots. I'm
Right.
bad enough. I'm competing with Jaylen Brown for shots.
Yeah.
Don't come in here getting. It was wild. It was wild.
Yo, the dude is solid. I like old boy. Dude,
Yeah, he's the truth.
He's solid.
Because he played defense
exactly.
and barely get to touch the ball.
And
People
bro,
don't recognize that.
With the right matchup, he might get 22 points.
Yeah. He's nice. I didn't think he could shoot that well. I thought he was kind of like a Draymond.
Right. He got a little handle. He got a little step back. He can go to the hole. Now he decent. They just like you said, they doing a 2-man stuff, and they don't really use them correctly. And that's other teams would use, other players would use. They'll max out his ability. Some players won't, because they want the fame and the interviews, and that bothers them when they don't get it.
That's fair. I mean, that's realistic. I get it.
If he came to a team like the Bucks, yeah, they would use all of his ability, because Giannis be taking plays off and let Grayson Allen, no guys do their thing. Yeah, if he came to the Bucks, you'll see about 18 points probably per game.
Yeah. Oh man, let me get in here and get this game on.
Yeah, I just seen a deep pass to the Miami defense trash too. Matter of fact, I even know they was in the playoffs. I didn't even know Seattle was in the playoffs like that.
Me neither.
Miami, they're a horrible seed. They're in the playoffs. So moving down the field. This might be one of those. Every game. Well, yesterday was a blowout till they came back and won. But I hope Tua's playing. If he's not playing, this is going to be one of those 40-3-6 type games.
Oh, shit.
All right. So we out of here. Peace. X Clear, Vixian. I see you. You came a little late. You could have hopped on this discussion. We'd have loved to hear your opinion. But now we out. The game's on.
All right.
I see the chat dispersed. So we out.